The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast that feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What up, YouTube? Dolly back in the house tonight like Ray Charles. I can't see shit. Where's everybody at? Where is everybody at? Okay, let me take these shades off because I can't see shit. Tonight, we are talking new information coming out in the Bryan Kohberger case. Y'all know Bryan Kohberger. He's the one that the Idaho 4 house. Real big case. Matter of fact, one of the biggest cases in true crime court cases that are going to take place this year. Also, we're going to be talking Karen Read. Was she framed? Okay. Is Karen Read factually innocent? Also, we're going to be talking about the new STEPHAN Sterns phone call. Every time this man opens his mouth, I'm like, oh my Jesus. Plus, it's open discussion night. We can discuss whatever you want, you know, if you bring the topic up. Also, I will open the phone lines in a little bit. Keisha has been a member for 4 months. Thank you for being a member. That is super awesome. Now, let me give my warnings. Dolly Visions for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing as fact here. It's pure opinion, totally satire. Also, the callers' opinions tonight are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on Dolly. Okay? Everyone is innocent to proving guilty in a court of law, even the people we're talking about tonight. The biggest one of them all. Don't try to be a Dolly at home. It is dangerous. Also, if you enjoy the show, don't forget, drop a little super chat in there. Tip your entertainer. And that'd be me. That'd be this dude right here. Okay? So anyway, more stuff has been released in the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger murder case of the 4 college students. Okay, you know, now we know kind of how it all played out. We got a chance to hear the 911 call where they were passing the phone around. So we also know now that Bethany and Dylan, after this, Dylan ran to the basement and stayed in the basement with Bethany while they believed somebody was in the house. So instead of going upstairs, they were scared. So what they did was called their friends and 2 of their friends came over. They went in the house. They went upstairs. They were so scared that one of them even went to the drawer and got a knife. Army Mom, thank you so much. I missed you guys too. I took the weekend off. I had a lot of stuff to do to get done. So I'm back full time. Okay. Late Night Dolly is in effect. You will get my show every night. Okay. And Sonia, thank you for being a member for 13 months. That is awesome. So just everything in this seemed weird. Also, the girls were assaulted, beat in the face. According to Steve Gonzalez, okay, he did an interview with a podcast, and I think I said his name right. If I mess his name up, don't murder me, people. But he said the girls were beat in the face brutally. One of them even had a broken nose. So this ain't something that looks like it transpired real quickly. This looks like something that happened over a period of time. They were walking past Zena's body, but never called 911. It's not until they called the other people over to the house and the young man said, everybody get outside, call 911. They thought Zena was passed out drunk on the floor, and they were literally walking past her body. Now, here's the crazy thing to me. There had to be blood everywhere. We literally seen blood dripping out the house, coming through the floorboards outside of the house. Blood was dripping out the house. That's how bad these kids were brutally stabbed. How did they not see any of that blood? Right? This the whole 911 call does not make any sense whatsoever. Now, Court TV Vinny did a little update on these new facts that have been coming out. So we're going to click over and watch a little bit of this video because Court TV explains it just a little bit better than I do. And then we're going to come back and we're going to dissect it. We're going to take some calls on it because to me, something does not add up. All right. Let me share the screen with you. All right. Share screen.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation, the tragic deaths and murders of 4 University of Idaho students. When it happened, it was the biggest true crime mystery in the nation, and this summer, it will be the biggest criminal trial of the year. Here's the story. In the stillness of a cold November night, a quiet college town was shattered by a horror it had never known. 4 promising University of Idaho students, Ethan, Xana, Maddie,
Bryan
and
is
Kaylee,
guilty for
were
sure.
found brutally murdered inside their off-campus home. The scene was a nightmare. Beds soaked in blood, silence pierced only by unanswered questions. There were no screams reported, no cries for help heard, just the grim discovery that would haunt a community and captivate the nation. They were vibrant, full of life, with futures unfolding before them. Then in the darkness, someone crept through their sanctuary with cold precision and devastating violence. The attack was swift, methodical, almost unreal. The weapon, a fixed blade knife.
K-Bar!
The motive, still a mystery. As investigators scrambled, the case drew speculation, suspicion, and fear. A white car, a cell signal, DNA on a knife sheath left behind. The picture grew clearer, but the wound left on Moscow, Idaho remains deep, and justice still uncertain. This is going to be a huge, huge trial, but it's going to be a trial where every piece of evidence will be challenged. Prosecutors have the burden in this case, like they do in every case, to prove it beyond any and all reasonable doubt. Now, since the crime happened, we've learned some information, but there's a whole lot that we don't know. But bits and pieces are being released through court documents. And during the course of this program, you're going to hear some of that new information. I want to begin, though, with something that we have heard before, But tonight we're going to have new context associated with it. So let's take a listen to the 911 call that was made the morning after these brutal murders.
Late August.
911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something's happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she not wake me up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20.
Yes, Kaylee had a broken nose, so she was pretty bad, beaten in the face. You know, of course, also stabbed. That's came out recently. So a lot more information is coming out in this case. And we know now more about how this 911 call took place. They were in the basement. They called up two of their friends, and those two friends came over, and then they had enough nerve to leave the basement and go upstairs. They thought somebody may still be in the house, which don't make no sense to me, because if you think somebody's in the house, wouldn't you get out of the house, run and call the police and say, I think somebody's in my house? And the 911 caller, she, you know, to answer this call, she should be fired, because the girl was trying to tell her and she cut her off. She said, you know, somebody was in her house. She was about, and then she was like, I need to know what's going on right now. Well, it's all, you would have knew right then to send police, right? That something was wrong other than somebody being passed out. It was reported like there was an unconscious person, and the operator didn't give them no room to speak, and was bitching at them like, just take the call, lady, do your job. It don't matter if they hand the phone around to everybody. They're panicking their kids.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around, because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Again, difficult to listen to, knowing what we know about what happened inside that house. But we've got to learn more about
until I
what was
watched
happening in
Kaylee's
that.
dad do that interview recently about the evidence.
Yes. You know, a lot of new stuff is coming out, and I mean, it just seems so strange. Now, I ain't saying Kohberger is innocent. I'm saying there's some questions about what happened in that house that just does not make sense to me. You know, the whole time I thought they were getting rid of drugs. The reason they didn't call the police is they may have had something illegal in the house. But then it's like Dylan runs to Bethany's room. They know somebody's in the house, but they don't call the police. They're scared, but they're not scared enough to call the police, which don't make any sense to me. Okay? Crazy.
That house, because it's going to be part of the case, part of the trial, part of the evidence. And that brings us to the first question in our investigation. What was happening inside the house just before the 911 call? Right? Because the 911 call is somewhat chaotic. The phone is being passed around. There's a lot of confusion. So what was happening inside that house just before the 911 call was happening? Here with us to help go through this new information, former homicide investigator, host of the Interview Room with Chris McDonough. It is Chris McDonough, and psychotherapist, author of Till Death Do Us Part, Love, Marriage, and the Mind of the Killer's Spouse, and host of the Talking Live and Bite Size podcast, Dr. Robbie Ludwig. Thank you both for being here. I want to put this up because we've got some new information, and I want to go through this information and then get your perspectives on it and a little more analysis and meaning from it. So here we go. At approximately 11:50 a.m., DM, who is Dylan, called her friend and asked her to come over and check the house because she was scared. This is, remember, 11:50 a.m. So EA and her boyfriend, HJ, came over. Now, they met DM and BF, Dylan and Bethany, the two surviving roommates, at the bottom floor of the house. Okay, you know the house has 3 levels. The bottom floor is where Bethany's bedroom is, and that's where Dylan and Bethany were. Together, Dylan, Bethany, and HJ started to walk up the stairs from that bottom first floor up to the second floor. When they reached the second floor, HJ went to the kitchen to grab a kitchen knife.
See?
When he came back out, Dylan saw Xana again for a split second. And this is...
Here's my thing. Now you got another man in the house. You got another man in the house with a knife. You got them not calling the police, right? I mean, it's just weird things.
This is a quote that they're quoting from a statement. And I just started bawling because I thought she had just like, I don't even know. I thought maybe she was still just drunk and all asleep on the floor. Bethany also saw Xana lying on the floor. At that moment, HJ told Dylan and Bethany to get out. EA, who's his girlfriend, who had started up the stairs, also turned around after HJ instructed her not to come any further. They both went outside. Shortly afterwards, so HJ is now in the house by himself, exited the house and told them to call 911. HJ was pale white and mentioned something about someone being unconscious. Let me start with you, Chris McDonough. The picture I'm getting here, Dylan had called her friend because she was scared. I think she knew something really bad had happened in that house, but she didn't want to acknowledge it. And now for the first time, it seems like someone is finding Xana, who is dead.
They knew she was
Vinny,
dead.
I mean, there's a lot going on here, and investigators are trained in what is called critical faculty. What that means essentially is the subconscious mind starts weighing information against, their belief system, their thoughts, their experiences, and it's trying to figure out whether or not there's a, is this real? Is this fake? And, Dr. Robbie can go into this a lot deeper than I ever could, but what's happening here is these kids are trying to figure out what is going on here. And so are their brains, quite frankly.
So, Dr. Robbie, your thoughts about the mindset and the reactions to all of this? Because Dylan is scared, but she doesn't call 911. It's HJ, who I guess is the one who goes in the room and actually examines Xana to some extent, is the one saying, call 911.
Yeah, so, we know a lot more now.
My big question is, how did they not see all the blood? They never mentioned any blood. You got 2 girls that are brutally beat, stabbed in 2 different rooms. I mean, blood should have been everywhere. Dylan sees the killer walking out the house dressed in black with a mask on, and these 2 girls are not putting none of this together. None of it. That can't. Can anybody really be that stupid? And that, listen, I'm not trying to talk bad on them or anything, but can you really be that stupid? It don't make a lot of sense. Trauma, maybe trauma. I don't know. My first instinct would be if somebody was in the house stabbing people is to get the hell out the house, not to go lock myself in the basement. And you know, they had a door to the basement. They could have ran out the door. They stayed in the house thinking somebody was in there, which makes no damn sense.
Now about what happened during the crime scene than those girls at the time of the crime. And it sounds like they did not feel safe. They didn't know if the killer or somebody who...
They went to bed. They went to bed. If you didn't feel safe, could you go to bed? They didn't even get up and look till noon. They went to bed. To say they didn't feel safe, let me tell you this. If I didn't feel safe right now, do you think I would go in there and go to bed? If I thought somebody was in my house and may kill me, do you think I'm going to go in there and go to sleep? Hell no. I'd be have one eye open. Like, I hope this dude don't come in here with a knife. No way. No way. And if I seen somebody in my house that wasn't supposed to be there, I would call the police. They never did that. This shit don't add up. Now, listen, I still think Bryan Kohberger is guilty, but something's going on. Something's weird is happening. And I don't know what. Is this going to help Kohberger? Because look, if I was Bryan Kohberger's defense attorney, I say there's already another guy in the house with a kitchen knife. Okay. You're not a 20-year-old female, Dolly. I understand that. You're right. But now you done placed another man in the house with his prints, his footsteps. How do we know that footprint they found wasn't HLs or whatever they called them? We'll just say H, right? How do we know that footprint outside of Dylan's door wasn't H's? And how do we know that the roommates didn't murder their own roommates and clean up? That's why there's no blood trail outside that house. Not only that, there's not one bit of DNA of any of these people in Bryan Kohberger's car or on any clothes they found at Bryan Kohberger's. The only thing that links Bryan Kohberger to being in that house is that touch DNA that's on that knife sheath, and that could become in question because sometimes DNA places make mistakes. So Bryan Kohberger's defense team, they got a lot of good stuff right here, because you can already say, well, there was another man in the house with a knife, H. He was walking through the house. Why didn't they call the police? Why didn't they report any of this blood? You got all these weird things that he can use in his defense.
Shouldn't have been there, was still in the house. And so they were in a state of panic, and I would even say denial. If something's not within your frame of reference and you've never experienced it before, you don't necessarily assume that someone's been murdered and stabbed. You want to assume that they were...
Hey, Dark Moon, let me do you a favor. You don't have to unsubscribe. I'll block you right here. Ban user in their comment. Boom! You got the foot before you can even leave. Listen, this ain't no airport. You ain't got to denounce your departure. I never said nothing about Bryan Kohberger being innocent. I said there's some things going on in this house that don't add up. So kick rocks, carry your ass, and see you later. I don't care. People act like, here's the thing, guys. I love all you guys to death, right? But people act like they're going to, like, it's like that's gonna fuck my day. I'm gonna leave you. There's a million channels. I didn't force you to come here. Okay? Did I say, hey, whatever you're doing tonight, there, jump on my? I didn't do that to you, right? Don't come in here being rude as shit. You don't have to leave. You just got booted. Okay? You got kicked before you can leave. Talking about I let my brain listen. You tuned into my channel, which is me talking. Then you can complain about me talking on a channel that's mine. Go start your own damn YouTube channel. Shut up! Don't interrupt me like that again. They just got kicked, so I don't know who it was. But hey, you ain't. This ain't an airport. You ain't got to denounce where you're going. What do you think? Everybody's going to leave with you? Right? What do you think? Nobody, only person left was you. All right. Peace. See you next time. Watch from the bushes because now you can't talk.
Drunk and unconscious. You may be nervous that something extreme happened, but I think these girls were panicked for good reason. They did not feel safe, or I think it was a girl and boy as well. And so the next day they had more time to kind of sit with the reality that.
Yeah, I don't have as much patience. Somebody said, Dolly, definitely not on the weed. No, I haven't smoked in like 9 months or something like that. What is it? Since August? So yeah, it's been, well, let's see, August, September, November, December. It's been 8 months. I don't have patience for people like that. I want good people here. I want people that want to enjoy, want to listen, want to talk true crime. Not somebody, in my opinion, don't align with yours. You're going to be an asshole. Listen, you can think Bryan did it. You can think he didn't do it. You can think that Dylan did it. You can think she didn't do it. It don't matter. This is an open discussion format here. Okay. So I just give my opinion on things. I ain't saying you got to like my opinion or any of that. Right. Just like sometimes you guys say things and I think what y'all say, I don't agree with it. And I'm going to say things that you probably ain't going to agree with. That's the part of having an open discussion. That's why it says in the title, open discussion. We're sitting here discussing a case, okay? So I don't want to hear a bunch of crybaby shit. Oh my God, no, he said something I don't like. Okay, just go watch something else if you're not enjoying the content. If you enjoy the content, make sure you like the video. Take a second, hit that thumbs up for Dolly. Thank you, guys.
Wasn't changing for them, and the person who ultimately advised the girls to call 911 was someone who had not experienced that same trauma and fear the night before. So it's just a horrific situation, and on top of that, these girls now are being judged, which is awful. They really should not be.
Should not be. Chris, something else that really struck me here, and now I'm looking at trying to understand the crime. Ethan is also murdered, but no one is seeing him. Like they see Xana, they see her feet, and then her head is pointing away from them, but she's on the ground. I guess he goes closer to examine, yet no one is seeing Ethan at that moment. What are your thoughts about why they're not seeing Ethan, where he could potentially be? And exactly what happened in that room where it seems now the door is open and has been open.
Dazzle, Dolly.
Has been left open the whole time.
Don't make me razzle dazzle that ass. Go off on you like tell her some business. Is that lady's name? Plus, I'm a little irritated. I chipped one of my back tooth, right? My back tooth, I chipped it. And it's like really sharp and it's stabbing me. So it's making me talk a little funny. I don't know if y'all noticed that. But I need to make a dentist appointment tomorrow, and to get my tooth fixed. It's like I don't know, it chipped just a little bit, so it's really sharp. And PJ's saying I need to go call my heart doctor tomorrow because I may need some antibiotics before they can fix this tooth. But it's kind of sharp and it's kind of cutting me a little tiny bit, so I'm a little irritated. So tonight is not a night to be like trying to push your luck with me because I'm already mad, right? I mean, I'm in good spirits, but it's a little painful. And then, you know, I go to read something. It's like somebody being mean. I'm like, rah, you know, so don't test your luck tonight. That's all I'm saying. At least let me get this tooth fixed in the back before you fuck with me. All right.
Regarding Xana's murder and Ethan's murder.
Yeah, you know, Vinny, I think it's really interesting that, you know, when all the girls are together, you know, when about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then obviously later on this horrific event unfolds, you know, Ethan is just kind of there as kind of the protector. And so he's kind of tucked away in the back there. And it's interesting that the witness says, you know, I see Xana. And she even mentions in some of the text messages, like my
tooth don't hurt. like I don't have a toothache. I chipped it and the tooth is really sharp. I'm talking razor sharp. So my tongue keeps hitting it and it's like stabbing me. So it's making me feel like I'm talking funny. And like if you touch it, it'll stab you. It's like pointed. So it's just like it barely chipped, but it chipped off the left a piece that's like this stabbing the shit out of me. So somebody's probably right. They'll probably just file it down, which would be perfectly fine with me. Or like, cause it's just the very tip of the tooth in the back. So it sucks, but a nail file is a really thing I've heard. Definitely need a dentist appointment though. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be in here with a toenail file, on my tooth tonight. All I gotta do is make it till tomorrow. Dolly gotta eat, right?
Dolly's gotta eat.
Yeah, with my sharp ass tooth, I'll bite through your neck, your jugular, right? Razzle dazzle. You don't want none. So before I was rudely interrupted by that person, I was on a rant about, you know, the defense. I mean, I understand people want Bryan Kohberger to go to prison. I think he's the next like Ted Bundy, me. I think he's guilty, right? But that person that wanted to run off at the face didn't give me a chance to get around to that. But I'm saying if you was a defense attorney, you would have a lot to go off of with other people being in the house, the behavior of the roommates, them not calling the police, 4 people being killed by one person, right? And you got to remember, Ethan wasn't a small dude, right? Dolly got to be pain free, right? So he's not a small dude. He put up a fight, and now all this noise and all this chaos that was going on in that house while people are being brutally murdered, nobody called the police, right? And like I said, people can say, well, they were scared. They were scared. Why'd they go to bed? So that
Don't
to me,
mess with Dolly. He's not here to play today.
I am not here to play. You seen that? You seen that? I was like, oh hell no, you didn't just say something smart to me. I've been like, my tooth been bothering me all day, like not in pain, but like I said, it's stabbing me in the gum, and it's like cutting my tongue. And I was like, oh no, I ain't got the patience for that shit tonight. Not tonight, Satan. You ain't gonna do it to me. And I seen somebody say, call the heart doctor. I'm going to call my heart doctor in the morning and tell him, hey, I chipped my tooth. I didn't chip it bad. It's just little, but the little part that it left is like a razor blade. And see what they say. If it's something like they need to pull the tooth or something, which I don't think it is because the tooth don't even hurt. I'll find out tomorrow. But either way, I'm getting this shit taken care of tomorrow. And, like I noticed I was talking like crazy funny earlier because it was starting to hurt. And I was like, oh man, I sound like I got, I don't know. I'm on the spectrum, you know, it's making me sound a little weird.
Remember right, that she even recognizes the color of her clothing. Okay? And so I think Ethan becomes almost an afterthought initially because of the trauma that's taking place here that these kids are witnessing. And it's not uncommon for witnesses, as you know, more than any.
In my case, and I thought you developed a lisp. It's making me sound funny, right? Because it just is what it is. But no, I don't naturally have a lisp, but I thought the same thing earlier, that I was kind of slurring words. I'm trying to keep my tongue on this side of my mouth so it don't stab me. And not to get way off topic, but I'm just letting y'all know, you know, why I'm so grumpy. Don't test me. Don't test me.
Buddy, to kind of get this tunnel vision, and Ethan's kind of left out for a brief moment.
All right, our guests are staying with us. Coming up next, who was killed first, Maddie or Kaylee?
These were just girls that went to sleep that night, and a coward, you know, a hunter that went out and he picked his little opponent that was girls.
Is Karen Reed a killer girlfriend?
She's guilty.
Or the scapegoat in an elaborate cover-up?
Karen Reed was.
We're going over that next. Okay, Karen Reed next, right after we get through this Kohberger stuff. You know, because now we know that there was other people in the house. You know, there's another gentleman, young man in the house. That may explain that footprint that was outside of Dylan's door. He had a knife, which sounds crazy to me. You would think, I don't know. If I thought somebody's in the house, I'm getting a bat. I'm getting something to bust you upside the head with. But he went and got a knife. Now we got this man's fingerprints and stuff in the rooms that the dead body's in, and he allegedly had a knife. Now, I ain't no expert defense attorney, you know. I'm no Alan Jackson, speaking of Karen Reed. But to me, that makes a pretty decent argument. That puts reasonable doubt into people's minds when you say, well, there was somebody else there with a knife too. His name was Brian Higgins. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, let's get through this.
We know who did it.
The Karen Reed murder retrial. Live coverage weekday mornings, 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
Just look at that touch from Trinity Rodman.
Saturday night.
When she is on the field, she changes the game.
Saturday night. Saturday night.
Saturday night is our night.
The new Saturday Night Out is on ION all season long.
And each victim was stabbed multiple times.
Some of the information we learned early on about the murders of these 4 University of Idaho students. Steve Gonzalez is the father of Kaylee, and he has been very outspoken from the beginning and very vocal about this and very public about this, and has really been the face for the victims and for the families talking about this. And he spoke about the death of his daughter and her very best friend.
So then they went to high schools together. Then they started looking at colleges. They came here together. They eventually get into the same apartment together. And in the end, they died together in the same room, in the same bed.
And it was Maddie and Kaylee who were on that 3rd floor and were killed there. So both of them were there, both were murdered. That's where the most important piece of evidence was also found, which was the knife sheath. But this brings us to the next question in our investigation, and it's about these 2 victims who were together murdered. Who was killed first? Was it Maddie or was it Kaylee? Can we even tell? Still with us, Chris McDonough and Dr. Robbie Ludwig. What I'd like to do, because I thought this was pretty important when I saw it and heard it. So Steve Gonzalez on Ashley Banfield's YouTube channel, Drop Dead Serious, spoke about what happened to his daughter and to Maddie and what he learned.
They went for Maddie first, and then Kaylee. Kaylee woke up. Kaylee showed signs of fighting, and or a fight. I don't know really what somebody waking up with somebody stabbing you, how much fighting you can really do. But then this monster struck her multiple times.
This is important information. Chris McDonough, when you talk about what that scene was like, it seems clear that investigators are able to figure out who died first and who had. And when they talked about the defensive wounds, it seems like it's coming from Kaylee, because she wakes up, she is fighting, and then the killer strikes her as well.
Yeah, Vinny, and you can recreate the sequence based on obviously the cast off from the knife, unfortunately, and the positioning of the bodies, as well as what you're talking about, the defensive wounds there. But let's not also forget that there's somebody else who is still alive at that time, and that is Xana. And so the dad here God bless him, is talking about these two young ladies up there. And, if this is a sexual fantasy homicide, this guy had his targets and he was not going to let go. And the brutality shows.
Dr. Robbie Ludwig, I can't imagine the terror for Kaylee. She's with her best friend. She's in a place where she feels safe with her friends, in their home, in bed. She's asleep, and her best friend in the world has just been murdered. It wakes her up, and suddenly she is fighting for her life.
It's unimaginable, right? It's just so hard to imagine. But at some point, she probably knew that she was going to die at some point. And this Bryan and this sexual homicide fantasy, that is exactly right. Bryan was not able to get the women that he wanted. And so for him, this sexual violence in a bed with these chosen girls and the nightmare and death was for him as close to sex or better than sex than he could get. So,
well, I kind of disagree with that. Now let's think about this. If the man wanted sex, he could have found somebody that was one woman and did something terrible to her, right? And fulfilled those desires. His desire was to kill, which she may be right that it was better than sex to him. He didn't want sex. He wanted to hurt people. There's a difference. People that want sex, they go to prison for the big R word. People that want to murder go to jail for murder. He was a killer. He wasn't the big R word. He wasn't trying to even do anything like that. Did he hate women? I mean, I don't know. That's hard to say if Kohberger hated women. He had a fascination with killing people. He was into killers. He's a criminology student. We know he studied TBK, right? Or BTK. Which one is bind, torture, kill? So he had a fascination with killing. He wanted to know what it was like to kill people. And I still believe he's a serial killer. Like, just because they haven't found a stab victim don't mean he stabbed somebody. He preyed on his victims for a while, just like BTK would. Stalk, maybe even walk past you, And I believe if you look, maybe he strangled a prostitute somewhere or something. He didn't start off killing 4 people. You work up to something like that. You don't start off so brutally. Your first murder is just like the most brutal murder of the century. I believe he started off small and he's worked his way up to this. Just my opinion. Lady Butterfly has been a member for 10 months. Thank you, Lady Butterfly.
So it sounds like he was in for the kill and he wanted to induce fear. And he certainly did that on the way to these girls' deaths. And it's just so hard to think about. And it's amazing this father is continuing to share a story that I'm sure is just painful. It's really...
I had never heard of an incel before this case. Men that just hate women because they can't get a woman. I thought men that couldn't get a woman were gay. I mean, I just, like, that's just weird to me. Like, I don't know. Like, he had girlfriends. BTK unalived 4 people his first time. I don't think so, Turtle Gang. I had to go back and look. I thought BTK broke into houses and killed. It might have been 4 with kids. I think he killed some kids or something at one time. A husband, wife, and kids. You may be right. It may have been 4. But mostly it was just one person usually he would kill at a time.
Like living a nightmare.
Chris, do you have a working theory on why the killer went upstairs first to that third floor? Because you don't enter on that floor. You have to go up either 2 flights of stairs or 1 flight of stairs. I believe it was 1 because I think he came in on the 2nd level. Do you believe there was a reason why he went up there first? Did he know? Do we think he knew there were 2 young women up there? What are your thoughts?
You know, Vinny, I've thought about that extensively, and what I've, a working theory I've had in my head is that the house was a target, but specifically Madison, because, he's seen around that house 23 separate times based on the digital footprint. And for somebody to spend that much time, he knew how many girls were in that house. So I've often contemplated, is he imitating somebody? We won't know that till the trial, but he specifically knew where he was going to start and where he was going to end. And I think Ethan was in the way.
I believe that too. I think he knew who he wanted to kill. I don't think he just randomly picked a house one night and said, okay, I'm going to go in this house and stab whoever's in it. He stalked these girls. He watched these girls. And it wasn't that he was stalking that neighborhood. Okay. He was a predator. If you remember, the neighbor's car had been broken into and she had some clothing in the back, and he took the panties out of the suitcase that was in the back, allegedly. There was other things, skinned animals and stuff in the neighborhood. So he was stalking that neighborhood. So I'm pretty sure he knew who was in that house, who lived in that house. He may have been not sure that Ethan was going to be there that night, but he knew them girls lived there alone. He knew how to access the house. He was familiar with the house. Listen, you don't think, what is it, Zelle, where they can go up there and look at the format of your house? Like, I can put in your address right now and I can look at the layout of your house. So before I even go to your house, I know where everything is in your house, like the kitchen, the bathrooms, you get the floor plan of the house. You can look up anybody's house. He knew where he was going. He knew Zillow. Okay. What did I say? Zelle? I think that's I don't know. Zillow. You can do all these things. And I believe he knew the layout of the house. I believe he knew who was in the house, and he had a target, and that's who he went for. Why he didn't kill everybody, I don't know.
And I also believe the other 2 girls who survived were potentially, could have been victims themselves that evening.
And when I think about Kaylee, my understanding is I believe she was the one who had graduated early.
Dolly, take a rough towel or rag wire up that sharp point every once in a while. You can wear that sharp point down.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hit up my doctor tomorrow and a dentist and see what they can do with it, so it don't drive me crazy. It's just like a little nagging scrape every time I talk, or it hits my gum or my tongue. I have this little stuff for fillings that I keep putting on it, but it keeps popping off. So,
had a job set up, had just bought her own car like herself, and was sort of visiting that weekend and had finished school. So I'm wondering if he even expected her to be there.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's almost as if she's in the way. And does that explain behaviorally why she was beaten, as the dad has explained here, almost as a revenge of, you're not supposed to be here. You're ruining my fantasy.
And that fighting back may have been the reason that the knife sheath.
Red Dragon is such a good movie. That's one of my favorite movies in the Hannibal Lecter series.
It's jarred loose and ends up underneath one of the victims.
Or do we know that Xana's not moving around the house? We don't know that, but she certainly is awake. She's on social media at 4:12 in the morning. He could have been upstairs already doing his thing. I've wondered about that through this whole thing.
And Dr. Rob, we only have about 15 seconds left here, but your thoughts about Steve Gonzalez, when it comes time for this trial, will it be therapeutic at all for him, or will it be?
Okay, let's discuss it. Phone lines are open. My thing is, now we have another person in the house, another male. Allegedly Bethany and Dylan called their friends over before they called the police, which we knew that happened anyway, because of the 911 call. We got other people walking through the house, touching things. Dolly.
Doug from Tennessee.
What's up, Doug? I ain't talked to you in a while. I've been busy. It's crazy.
I know it, man. I ain't got my dolly fixing. It's getting on my nerves.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be back on regular schedule now. I had so much yard work and stuff I had to get done. I'm backed up on some of my orders, so I'm trying to catch up on everything now.
I feel you. I feel you. So, my opinion on this?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it.
They're involved.
Bethany and Dylan?
Yes, and they know who done it. They might even help.
You think they may have helped? I just think it's strange, weird behavior, and but how did Kohberger's touch DNA get on that knife sheath?
Because I told you, he delivered the people who done it. And they touched him.
And they touched the knife.
And they touched the knife.
Yeah, but then wouldn't he know Dylan and Bethany?
Through Dylan dope, he would.
That's what I always thought that somebody was selling drugs in that house. I've always thought that. I was like, why did they take so long to call the police unless they were trying to get rid of something? And we do know that Kohberger was on drugs at one point. He was doing that big H, and college kids like to party.
What if he was the man? What if he was the man?
Kohberger was the dope man?
It could be him and his daddy.
Yeah, but wouldn't they have communications on their phones between him and them girls? If that was the case, just like say you was the plug and I'm calling you to get stuff, then I'm sure they checked their phone records to see who they were communicating with.
He's up higher than them. He's the big man. He's the collector. You ain't paid me my money, I'm coming to get it.
You saying that it was revenge, like because somebody didn't pay him some money?
Yes. They paid somebody the money. They sent him and Bethany, and that girl was in on it too.
Why beat him in the face? Why beat the girls in the face? If he's going to stab them to death, why did he beat them like it was personal?
Because that was in on them girls, was in on it. Because you're not going to sit there all night long, blood everywhere, the house stinking of blood. They're scared to death, but they're texting each other. They're calling this and they're calling that one. The house is cleaned up. There ain't no blood going out nowhere.
Here's the thing. They text each other, and then they were in the room with each other. Dylan went down to the basement.
So they wasn't that damn scared.
No.
They know who it was. That's why they wasn't scared to go to the basement and all that. They were acting. They were up all damn night long.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it does seem strange. I will say that. Some of the things that their story is awful strange.
But they was on the phone all night long, texting each other. Look at the phone record. They was texting each other all night long. I'm scared. Come up here. Come here. Do this.
Yeah, and if you were scared, listen, there's a door at the basement that goes straight into Bethany's. Why didn't they go out that door? Why didn't they run out the house? If I was scared, thought somebody was in my house, and I'm right by a door, I'm going to run out the house.
But you got a phone.
I know. I'm going to run out the house and call 911. I'm going to get the hell out the house if I think somebody's in there doing something crazy. Like if somebody busted my front door and started shooting, right? I'm jumping out the window. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the hell out of the house.
But if you let them in the front door, if you let them in and you know who it is, you ain't going to say nothing.
So you think he pulled up, they let him in, he did the murder.
And they did the murder.
They did the murder.
It wasn't I believe it was more than one.
What do you think?
I believe it
What
was
were
more
they
than
fighting?
one.
What do you think they started fighting over a boy?
No. They were fighting over drugs.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I just know it seems awful strange and a whole lot of change, just behavior. Cause you would think things would make sense, but they don't make sense. And that's what makes it so weird. Like,
but you're not going to stay in that house and no blood leave that house. No blood trail leaves that house. Them girls don't smell that blood. They heard a bunch of noise. They seen people laying there. Don't tell me they seen people laying there. Blood wasn't everywhere.
I know. I would think blood be everywhere. And
it was saturated.
Here's the crazy thing. There's no DNA in Bryan Kohberger's car. So he didn't get one drop of blood in that car. There's none at his house. Right? It's like he commits the perfect crime other than he leaves a knife sheath there with his fingerprint on it. That seems so weird to me. Just that. Like,
and leave witnesses.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would think if you was going to go in there and kill and fight the guy and kill him, the next two girls are going to be easy work. You know what I'm saying? Like allegedly he walked right past Dylan, right past her.
And left her there. Only reason she was alive because she knowed who it was and they knowed her. I'm just saying, dude, you're not going to do 4 and leave 1. One more person ain't no different.
Yeah, I mean, people think they clean the car. It's hard to clean up blood. It smears and it takes so much water to dilute it, to get rid of it. And a hair.
Every crack.
Yeah, every crack in the car. He would have been covered in blood. And
that's what I was saying to you. Everybody said, well, he put on a suit.
What was that movie? What was that old Clint Eastwood movie? Was it 10 to Midnight where the dude would go out and so he wouldn't get blood on his clothes, he would kill everybody naked? I think, was it 10 to Midnight? I know it was a Clint Eastwood movie. Or Dirty Harry. It was one of those movies.
But you're still going to have blood on you.
I know, but he would wash it up. He would wash it off, but he would take his clothes off when he would kill you so he didn't get blood on him. On his clothes. I can't remember what Clint Eastwood movie it was, but I know it was a Clint Eastwood movie.
Well, I'm just saying there's more than one person. They was in on it. They know who it was.
Uh-huh.
They had to. You're not going to stay in that house with somebody with all that shit going on.
I'm not.
You're not going to do it.
I'm not. For sure.
And they ain't either. But if you know who's doing it, and you know they ain't going to bother you.
Yeah, then I would just stay in the basement, wait for the job to be done.
And I wouldn't wait 8 damn hours to make sure everybody's dead.
And then the chance you let a dude in the house, but now he goes and gets a kitchen knife. Now you got another man in the house with a kitchen knife.
But the 8 hours is what's going to get them girls. They're going to have to explain why they waited 8 hours, and then they called the friends instead of the cops.
I know.
I mean, that ain't adding up. You don't wait 8 hours not unless you know who it is.
Yeah,
and you haven't cleaned up.
Maybe. I mean, that may explain why there's no blood trail leaving the house. He had to be standing in blood, stabbing them people. I mean, you stab somebody to death, it ain't like you nicked them. I mean, you hit arteries. Their blood is squirting.
And like you said, it was everywhere, leaking out of the house.
Yeah, but yet there's no trail leaving the house. So maybe the killer never left the house. Maybe the killer was always in the house.
And there was 2 people living.
Maybe whoever did it killed him, showered, and went on about the night, and then framed him.
Look, I don't.
There's too many coincidences, though. Him being in the location, him out stargazing, his knife sheath. I mean, I'm just throwing out theories, playing devil's advocate. But I mean, all the evidence points to him, but their behavior is odd.
But if he's just delivering, or picking up.
I don't know about delivering killers. Where do you get a killer delivery service?
Drugs.
Yeah, but
delivering drugs.
Yeah, but there would be some digital footprint between them at that point, you know, unless they use the Signal app like Alan Jackson and Arca.
Or I got another phone that nobody knows about.
Yeah,
I got a burner phone.
Yeah, that could be the case. Okay.
Drug dealers don't use, most of them got burner phones, and you don't use your own phone to do your dope dealing with.
Yeah, some people do. All right, Doug, you be good.
But yeah, I glad you back on.
All right.
And tell PJ hi.
I will. Peace.
Later.
Tiffany is a new member. It says Tiffany B Tim Simp became a YouTube member. Okay, B Tim. Dolly. Yeah, ma'am.
What's up?
Not a whole lot. Just another day in paradise.
Did you get sore going back to the trades there for a little bit?
Going back to the trades? No, I've been working on my deck. I got the deck almost done. I got the pool in. I got the my gazebo up. I mean, I've been doing hellacious work. I've been getting it.
Did you get a little sore going into that?
I'm sore all the time. I'm old. Every time I wake up, I'm sore. I feel like I get beat up in my sleep.
I'm good. I'm glad it's just not just me.
Yeah, I wake up like who whipped my ass last night. I think Bryan Kohberger. Every morning I wake up, I think I fought off Bryan Kohberger.
Bryan Kohberger stabbed me with the wrong end of the knife.
Yeah, he been stabbing me upside it with the butt of the knife. I wake up all sore and bruised up. I don't know how it is. It's old age.
Yeah, it gets you.
Yeah. So what do you think about all this?
So this new information is that there's another guy in the
that
house.
they called their friend that morning, and he showed up with his girlfriend. They came into the house. The girls were scared to go upstairs because they were in the basement.
There's bodies downstairs. Oh, they didn't go up to the second or third floor.
Well, yeah, I remember Dylan started off on the second floor, and then by the end of the night, she done went down to the basement.
And they slept together.
Whatever they did for 8 hours, right? And then they call their friends up. Them friends come over. Then the dude is brave enough to go upstairs. He goes upstairs, goes to the kitchen, grabs a knife, which is just odd, right? Why has he got a knife?
Right.
If you don't think
he's scared too.
Yeah, he's scared too, right? And then they walk in and find Xana, but they don't report no blood. But Xana stabbed him.
How did they not find Ethan? He's outside the door.
Right? I don't get it. It don't make any sense.
They'd have to trip over Ethan to get to Xana.
And they never went and checked on Kaylee in Madison?
That just makes no sense. You know damn well they did.
You know they did. You know they did. Or they had something to do with it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe all of them. Maybe Bryan Kohberger's in with them.
Okay, who was Demetrius, and who's the girl that with the scarf?
Which girl?
Got busted for ODing the person. She was seen coming out of parties.
I'm not for sure. It's been so
She
long.
got pulled over for a DUI, and she had like a safe, and she was like a dealer chick. And Demetrius was the big cheese.
I'm not for sure, ma'am. I'm not for sure.
I think he had something to do with it.
I just think that, the girl had the new vehicle. I believe somebody in that house was selling drugs. I mean, that was my thought, and they needed time to clean up the house, and that's why they didn't call. That's always been my running theory, but I don't know. It's just odd, but they are young girls, and I still would think
they were too scared. But if they were so scared, it seems like they would have called 911 right away and forget the drugs.
Yeah.
Emma Bailey was the dealer.
Yeah, because
she hung out with a guy named Demetrius.
Well, college age kids party.
Yeah.
Like, they
that
party.
whole town was a huge market.
Yeah, it's a party town. It's college. Anywhere there's college, there's drugs and all that stuff. A lot of it.
And somebody's running that turf
Uh-huh.
and in charge of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
just like anywhere else.
it still don't explain that knife sheath, the DNA on the knife sheath. Him out just happened to be out stargazing. They don't explain none of
How is
that.
there no blood? That's when Douglas had some good points. You know, there's not a drop of blood in the car or anywhere in the house. Well, yeah, there's a lot of blood in the house, but
there's no trail
it seems
leaving
like
the
it'd
house.
just be dripping off of the guy as he's walking out.
Yes.
Drops falling everywhere and
Yes.
on the floor.
You telling me you stabbed all them people and there's no what is it? Casting of the blood.
Spurting.
Yeah.
Yes, blood spurting out. And, you know, he's getting it all over him. He's in a frenzied rage, you know, stabbing, you know, splashing every time he goes for another
And where
hit.
was he carrying the knife when he walked by Dylan? He didn't have a knife sheath.
Right.
So that means he walked by her with a knife in his hand? You don't put a knife
Without a drop of blood falling out?
Yeah, I mean,
and they probably luminoled the whole place, you'd imagine.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
If they cleaned up, they would have found the cleanup spots.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they tried to clean the blood up. I think they cleaned theirself up.
Yeah. But you'd think there'd be at least one drop of freaking blood coming off of that dude after he did poor people, especially the Zane or
No blood
Janet.
outside the house. They didn't find one drop of blood outside that house. How is that possible? How can you walk in the house and brutally stab 4 people and there's not one drop of blood outside the house?
It's almost impossible.
I mean, I get the Tyvek.
Full Tyvek suit, the heavy duty gloves, the rubber gloves.
Then how did he cut his hand if he had the heavy duty gloves? You know what I'm saying?
Mask on. Well, he could cut through gloves.
Remember they were talking about the cut on his hand? If he would have cut his hand, wouldn't there have been DNA blood there?
Yes.
See, that he cut his hand there, killing him, but none of his blood's there? Does that make any sense?
To cut yourself and then not have it come out the glove until you're out. If it was the last person.
That don't make it like they were worried about the cut on his hand. Remember when he got pulled over, they wanted to see his hands so they could see the cut on his hand. But if he cut his hand, his blood would have been all over the house, but they don't have none of his blood. All they have is that what was touched on the button of that knife, which don't make no sense because if he's bleeding, his blood would have been there.
Yeah, and there's not any drops in the house away from the scene of the bodies. That's crazy, man.
It's almost like he committed the perfect murder, but did the stupidest shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Commit a perfect murder, but leave your DNA and knife sheath there. It's just almost too good.
Perfect murder, the Summerwell's perfect crime, and now the Sebastian perfect crime. What the hell's going on here?
There's a lot of perfect crimes that were committed in 2024. I mean, it's just what it was. It was the year of perfect crimes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Weird crimes. I mean, there's a lot of them.
I can't wait to discovery because I think there's a lot of shit we're going to find out that we don't know right now.
Cindy E says blood stayed inside the glove. I mean, that's
what I'm saying.
If the blood, okay, just say you touch something to open the door and you got a bloody glove on, you're going to leave your blood. Yeah. Yeah. Cause most gloves are leather and some type of fabric or cotton or cloth.
Heavy duty plastic.
Yeah. He could have some heavy duty plastic on.
With or something.
Maybe.
It's not making sense.
You know the dishes gloves. You ever seen the movie Student Body?
Yeah.
With the green gloves?
Student Body?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's got the green gloves.
Yeah, so it makes me think of that. Every time the killer wore the green gloves, the dish gloves.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit of a mystery, but I mean, I think he's guilty. But the thing is, this is like there's a lot they can use.
Ride. Come ride with me. Who's next?
You know what I'm saying?
The defense has some good arguments.
That means somebody could have touched him and then did the thing and could have had his DNA on it.
I mean, how did they get his knife sheath though? We know he ordered that off Amazon.
There may have been more people involved, you know, and he set the whole thing up, and the other people did.
Or Dylan and Bethany set it up. And now they're acting
Yeah.
like they don't know what happened. But don't you think if that was the case, Bryan Kohberger would tell? Or does that implicate itself?
What were Kaylee and Maddie talking about in that one video? They're walking down after they left the bar, and they're saying, "You told him?" Or,
You told
"Oh my
him.
God, they're going to be pissed."
Yeah.
That seems to may have some significance because something got dropped. Somebody would have been really pissed. I don't know.
KC says he ordered a knife sheath, but they're not for sure if it was the sheath, was his sheath. It seems a little odd. And then, you know,
Strong coincidence.
what did he do with the clothes and the knife? And, you know, still there's no murder weapon. They never found the murder weapon. They never found none of his clothes. They never found none of their blood or DNA at his house or on him.
Probably on a pull off. He probably pulled off somewhere on the way on that circuitous drive he did. You know, put a dumpster or something.
Yeah, burn them or something like that. Throw it in a lake.
Yeah.
Okay, Mab. Well, you be good.
All right, brother.
All right.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Deck all done?
Almost. I got to put the handrails up.
All right, cool.
All right, peace. So, yeah, you know, no murder weapon, no bloody clothes, no evidence. The only thing is that knife. So he's a criminology student. He commits a perfect crime, but he gets away. He leaves his damn knife sheath with his DNA on it. It don't make a whole lot of sense there. It almost seems like that knife sheath could have been planted. Now, I don't know how would they know that, you know, how would they get Bryan Kohberger's, you know, knife sheath with his DNA on it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But there's enough right now that puts a little doubt in my mind. Just say if I was a jury member. Okay, which I ain't. But if I was, it would put a little doubt in my mind, right? Because I would go, okay, so now there's another guy in the house. His fingerprints are in the house. If he did it, he has the perfect alibi because he touched a knife. He touched the doors. He went into the rooms with the bodies. So all his stuff is there. B. Tim Simp just gifted 5 Dolly Vision memberships. Okay. My #1 fan, B. Tim. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know. It is just definitely. And if you got a membership from B. Tim Simp, make sure you thank her, Tiffany. All right. She's working hard for her money. K Mitch has become a new member. I guess as court gets closer, and you know, I will be there in Idaho for the court case. I am flying to Idaho to be there for this one. This is the biggest case of the year. All right. I also will be in Florida for the STEPHAN Sterns trial. So I'm going to be doing a little traveling between late August and early September for these trials. So everybody that's been donating and supporting the channel, thank you guys so much, because without that, I couldn't make these things possible. But we're going to get firsthand coverage here on Dolly Vision because we're going to be there. And more information will come out. And I want to be there when Bethany and Dylan testify to what the hell happened, because their story is the most strange to me. It's like, you got some explaining to do. Your shit don't make sense to me, and it still don't. You know, now we know there was 2 more people in the house. They were walking around the house, touching shit. Why they went to the kitchen to get a knife? If you were that scared, wouldn't you just simply call the police, right? Or would you go to the kitchen and get a knife and walk through the house like you're gonna have a knife fight with a killer? It almost sounds like a Friday the 13th movie or a Michael Myers movie where they confront the killer. You know, there's the one girl at the end that always gets away or kills the killer. It sounds like, you know, a movie plot, but real life usually ain't like a movie. It's usually totally different than that. So, speaking of movies, the Karen Reed trial. Okay. So over the last few days, I know a lot of people here don't care a whole lot about the Karen Reed stuff.
How do you silence 4 people while they are being unalived without anyone hearing anything? Not possible.
Army Mom, you are absolutely correct. It's absolutely impossible to do that. They had to have known, with them being wide awake. We know they wasn't even close to asleep. Listen to their friends get brutally murdered and did nothing. Nothing. Called their friends the next day, walked through the house, touching stuff, went to the kitchen, got a knife. I don't know. If I was Bryan Kohberger's defense team, I would spin that somebody else killed him and that my client was framed. Now, I think he's guilty, but I'm just saying, if I was his defense attorney, I'd be like, he was framed. They planted that knife sheath there. Their roommates are responsible for the deaths of their friends. They waited for them to go to sleep. They went into the rooms when they knew they were asleep and stabbed them and murdered them. Now, what it don't explain is how 2 girls murder Ethan. Okay, because Ethan was a big boy. But now we have the other girl and her boyfriend, H, involved, and maybe he could have killed Ethan. See what I mean? Now you're starting to put reasonable doubt out there. And reasonable doubt is enough to make you go, okay. Hold on.
We are on the record in the.
We pause this. I want to bring up our next story, which we're going to jump into, is basically the trial of Karen Reed. All right. Now, I know a lot of my viewers ain't real big on the Karen Reed thing, or we're watching the court case anyway, because there's a lot bigger court channels than Dolly Vision. But we've been covering the Karen Reed case for the last 8-9 days of the court hearing. And the last we left off with was Jen McCabe. And in the first trial, Jen McCabe, she was John O'Keefe's friend. She was with them that night, and they all went to the after party on Fairview. And she testified, right? But in the first trial, she came off real angry, real mad. In this trial, she came off real calm, real collective. A lot of people are saying she was coached, but she came off as a way better credible witness against Karen Reed. She basically destroyed Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson, he did really good in the first trial. He has been bombing in the second trial. I don't know why, but he's just like Hank the Tank in the new strategy against Karen Reed.
PJ is right. Antibiotic. Ouch, toothache hurts. Agree to disagree. Love Dolly and PG.
Yeah, I mean, you may not all agree with this, and that's perfectly fine. I don't hate you. I don't, we just a discussion channel here, and I just give my opinion. Sometimes my opinions don't align with your guys' opinions, but I just want to discuss this. I think she came off as a really credible witness this time, and she's basically a soccer mom. Her kids play basketball, right? This is a lady that spends most of her time at basketball practice when she's not killing police officers. Okay. It don't make no sense. Soccer moms ain't out killing people. She's a family oriented person, right? It's like me. I ain't out killing nobody. I'm too busy doing stuff for my kid and doing stuff for my kid. So to be like, she left basketball practice to go murder a cop for no reason with no motive makes really no sense to me. But we're going to jump into this video. And thank you, Peggy. That is awesome of you. Thank you for your super chat, even though you don't agree with me. That's still cool of you. Let's pull this up. All right, let's add this to the stage.
In your entire grand jury testimony, you never said, my client said the words, I hit him, did you?
Again, it's 227 pages. There are certain things I will never forget, Mr. Jackson.
Including the fact that you never, ever, ever said, she said the words, I hit him.
We know she said, I hit him. She said it in the new documentary. She said, could I have clipped him in my drunken stupor? I said, could I hit him? Did I hit him? Followed with a question mark, she said. Right? So we know she said, I hit him. I don't know why he's up there arguing that, because he sounds stupid. The whole world knows she said, I hit him. Could I hit him? And then on that documentary, she really basically condemned herself, right? She said, you know, I thought to myself, could I hit him in my drunken stupor that I had 6 drinks and they were doubles. So she was buying a drink and a shot of liquor, and then she was pouring the shots of liquor into her drinks. So she had 6 doubles. Now, if I had 6 doubles, I would run over everybody in Massachusetts. I'm just saying. I drink that much, I'll be unconscious in a bush somewhere, right? But if her lawyer, you know, she has a couple $1 million legal team that she says she's not paying, but yet she wants people to donate millions to her GoFundMe. But yet she says her lawyers are free. Well, what is she doing with all that money? Living her 5-star life, eating at 5-star restaurants, no DUI, right? She was basically trying to cheat on the man. I mean, there was a lot. And people that are into the Karen Read case think everybody in Canton and Denham are corrupt, but Karen Read. Okay. Cops are corrupt 100%. Yeah, some of the cops in this are corrupt, but that don't mean she's not guilty. Right? Listen, how many people would want to hand up their cell phone today? I don't know. You know, what if them cops were cheating on their wives or something like that? And they didn't want them phones to come forward, so they destroyed them. I mean, it happens. Would you want to hand over your phone for the whole public and the news and court TV to be reading your messages? So, I mean, I believe there's some corruption to a small level, but I don't believe the police killed John O'Keefe for no reason. And if you was a police, wouldn't you have covered the murder up, dropped him off in front of a crack house or something? You're not just going to leave the body in your front yard. That is damn stupid. Listen, I ain't no killer, but if I was, I ain't leaving your dead body in my front yard. So that just makes no sense.
A grand jury when you were asked about it 3 months after the incident. Correct?
She said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Key witness Jennifer McCabe returns to the stand this morning in Karen Read's retrial. So can we expect some more combative cross from attorney Alan Jackson? Plus, the jury has seen multiple video clips of defendant Karen Read, but when will her voicemails to Officer John O'Keefe come into play? Also this hour, Sherry Papini's breaking her silence nearly 10 years after her infamous kidnapping hoax. The convicted liar is taking a lie detector test in a brand new docuseries. And tributes are pouring in for the Kansas City paramedic who was stabbed to death in the back of an...
There's no reason for them to kill John O'Keefe. There's no motive. Okay? There's no motive to kill John O'Keefe, a bunch of people. Here's the thing, when you build a conspiracy like that, it don't take but one card to fall and the whole house crumbles. Like, I do believe the cops are a little corrupt. I believe there's some corruption at a small level. But far as everything else, Karen was drunk. She was the last one with him. She was the one fighting with him.
I don't disagree with you, but don't you think there's reasonable doubt?
No, not really. I don't think there's a lot of evidence to prove if she did it on purpose or she accidentally did it. Right? But there's no such thing as an accident when you're drunk because you already committed a crime. It's like committing a crime in the commission of a felony is what they call it. It's like when you're already breaking the law and you commit a crime, it's not an accident because you should have never got behind the wheel drunk. So there's no such thing as an accident when you're drinking and driving. So I believe with the taillight pieces being in his clothes and her taillight being broke, all the evidence points to Karen Read. So for people to say, you know, they did all this, and to me, it's ridiculous. Karen Read, will she get away with it? I mean, we know in this country you can buy your freedom. So, I mean, I don't know. But to me, the evidence points to Karen Reed. I don't think the soccer mom and the police inside the house had anything to do with the death of John O'Keefe. And if they did, they would have covered it up better than throw him in the front yard for people to find him. That don't even make good damn sense to me.
Ambulance. We're remembering Graham Hoffman this morning. It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements. In Tennessee, the state's case continues today for the 3 former officers accused in the fatal beating of Tyree Nichols. Court's going to start up in that one at 10 a.m. Eastern time. In Florida, we got some big news overnight. Mama Donna Adelson's trial is officially delayed. Thursday, the judge granted her defense's request to continue the case. The trial originally set for June the 3rd. The judge has yet to set a new date, so we'll keep you posted as soon as we get that. And in Massachusetts, we've got defendant Karen Reed's retrial continuing. She's accused of causing the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. They're going to start up at 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll go there together when it does, and that is our top story. As a witness, Jennifer McCabe returns to the stand for more cross-examination. She faced long hours of questioning by defense attorney Alan Jackson this week, mainly centering around
what? We only have 300 likes. There's over 900 people in the room, and there's only 300 likes on this video. Let me check. I'm about to rage quit. Hold on. Tiffany B. Shemp, thank you. Let me see how many likes we got on this video. Oh, no, we got 542. Okay. Guys, do me a quick favor. And thank you, Tiffany. I need you guys to hit the like button. And then once you do that, I want you to shout out in the chat room where you're watching my ugly face from. Okay. So make sure you hit the like first. All right. And then let me know where you guys are watching from. Even if you disagree with me on the Karen Reed stuff, I still want you to like the video. Okay. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. I see Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Utah. You was 546. You are so welcome. Thank you, Tiffany. New York State. I left my DNA. Georgia, Coastal North Carolina. Good to see you guys. You were 466. Key West, Florida. Key West. The Keys are beautiful. If I could live anywhere in the country, if I had the money, I would live in the Keys. It's expensive, but so beautiful. Iowa, Oregon, North Carolina. Good to see you guys. 757's in the house. You were number 31. Awesome. 615. Let's see if we can get to 900. Would be great. And listen, here's the thing about the Karen Reed trial. If Karen Reed is found innocent, right, and she's acquitted of all this, and I'll be able to sleep fine. Okay. But all these people that are supporters of Karen Reed, they're going to be sad. Okay. They're going to be sad. And I don't understand it, because I can understand backing good people. If Karen Reed was a really, really good person, she didn't like John. Remember the last thing she said to him was he was a loser. He was a pervert. F you. I hate you. She didn't want kids. She wanted to be with Higgins because she liked his lifestyle and how he was free with no kids. I see Midlothian, Virginia in the house. Good to see you. Tennessee's in the house. Missouri. Hold on, I got to sneeze. All right. I'm allergic to people not liking my video. Michigan's in the house. People are supporting somebody that was drinking and driving that night. They were supporting a basic cheater, a woman that cheats. Now, all these people, what if your old man, because most of these people that do this are women, what if your husband was doing the exact same thing? Would it be okay? I think, would you support that? Would all these people be supporting if it was a man? If it was Dolly? Okay. Would people be supporting it then? No. Right? The whole, you're wearing a $3,000 outfit and you're asking grannies to skip a meal and donate to your cause while you're wearing a $3,000 outfit, living at a 5-star hotel, eating at 5-star restaurants. Okay. Shit, you got to make a reservation too. And the waiter comes out with a rag and a vase to pour you some water. You know what I'm saying? To me, that is insane, guys. Listen, I could see if he was backing somebody, a really good person that was nice, not somebody that's like boos his mama, talks shit about his mama. You know, why they're doing this, they're booing John O'Keefe's mama. Even in her new documentary, she said, you know, how the mama looked at her and like talking shit about his mama. To me, that is unbelievable. You know, I don't know about the females, but to a male, your mother is the most important thing there is in this world. Okay, your mother, the person that gave birth to you. Like when they started being mean to John O'Keefe's mama, oh my God, right? Oh my God. And so many people are supporting this lady, and that behavior is unbelievable to me, right? She never even says she loved John O'Keefe or she even cared about John O'Keefe. You know, she's at this like, come at me type woman. And I mean, it's I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Like, I'm sure you guys, you know, that do back Karen Reed and do support Karen Reed, you believe her. And I know that's why y'all are supporting her, right? And you can't be mad at me for not believing her, right? That's how I look at things. I'm not mad at people that do support her. I don't understand it at all. Maybe if I understood it, I would get it, but I just don't. Like, I look at people that are out drinking and driving like a bad thing. People cheating, that's a bad thing. You know, we don't praise people that are bad. We need to praise people that are doing good in this world, not the bad people. They're lifting up a bad person like she's Bon Jovi and she's going to save the world. I have a hard time with that. I don't really get it. Like, I can see if she was a really good woman and she was doing charity work and helping the homeless and she was accused of something she didn't do.
Well, you did have the best mother on earth.
That I did. Okay. Thank you, Turtle Gang. So miss her every day. Miss her every day. I just don't get why so many people are out there fighting tooth and nail for this woman. Like, I get that there's police that are corrupt, but the whole town, everybody ain't bad. They act like everybody's bad but Karen Reed. And you see her behavior, and it's like, I don't understand. But if you want to call in and try to, you know, help me understand, oh man, the phone lines have been closed. Okay, now they're open. You're more than welcome to call in and tell me why Karen Reed is innocent. Nobody ever calls in that supports Karen Reed. Okay, everybody calls in, it's like she's guilty. But if you think she's innocent, hit up that phone line and let me know why you think she's innocent. I want to hear from you guys. Let's discuss it.
Defending Karen Reed's statement, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
In your entire grand jury testimony, you never said, my client said the words, I hit him, did you?
Again, it's 227 pages.
Was it important to you, before you testified, to tell these jurors, under oath, that my client said, I hit him 3 times?
As a juror, as a witness, it's important to tell the truth and to answer the question you were asked.
Alan Jackson told the court he's got about 2 hours left of his cross-examination. So what can we expect today? And how do you think Jennifer McKay...
Well, this is a little old because we know he cross-examined her for like 6 hours. He was just over and over. She called 100 times that night. She was completely wasted. Well, she called 7 times. She said she butt dialed 7 times. But when you're drinking, your perception of time is off anyway. So I'll call you and then, you know, be like, forget I called you, call you again, you know, so it happens. And people act like it's impossible to butt dial. I do it all the time. As soon as my phone is open, like you got to unlock your phone. But once your phone's unlocked and you end the call and then you got to throw your phone in your pocket, I pull my phone out all the time and somebody's on the other end of it. And I'll be like, oh, I didn't even mean to call you. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, this is Rhonda from Tennessee.
Hey, Rhonda.
I don't think she's innocent, but I do have something. Well, you know, when her and the ladies pulled up that morning to look for John, why is she the only one to say, there he is, there he is? Nobody else noticed him in the snow but her. She knew exactly where to say, there he is.
Because she knows where she was parked at, where she hit him at. That's what I truly believe. You know, the taillight pieces were in his clothing, you know.
Right.
So,
right. And I just think that this Alan Jackson guy is, oh, God, if I could get through the TV, I'd get him.
yeah,
he's not innocent.
He's an angry little man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would honestly say he's a good attorney. I mean, if I was in trouble, I wouldn't mind having him as an attorney. He's going to fight for you. He's been fighting his ass off for Karen Reed. So, I mean, he's not a bad attorney. I mean,
well, no,
I hate him. If I was in trouble, I would use him if I could afford him.
Right. I think that he badgers them. He badgers the people that are testifying.
Yes. I think that's how he's going to come off to the jury too. He's been doing it real bad this case. Like this time around.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
He's looking like a kid that's not getting his way, and he's just angry.
Right.
And like Jim McCabe was real calm, and I think Alan Jackson definitely took an L in their interaction. Like he was the one that acted like her the first trial. It's like the roles were switched. Like she was pushing Alan Jackson's buttons instead of Alan Jackson pushing hers.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. She pissed him off big time.
Yeah. And then instead of going all into detail and stuff, she's just like, I can't remember.
Right.
You know, and instead of getting all tied up into these battles where he can, you know, make her say something that may be wrong or trying to get her twisted up and things, she played it smart, and she was just like, I can't remember everything. I don't need to see the paper. And she didn't take the bait. You know, he was trying to bait her, and she just didn't take the bait very much. And I think that's what was angering him.
Right. Yeah. But I just wanted to mention that because I hadn't heard anybody say anything about that. But it was just like she knew exactly where he was laying and everything.
My biggest thing is I don't think they should allow the ARCA people in at all. Like, what people negotiate with the defense? They're supposed to be impartial, but yet they're talking on an encrypted app that deletes your messages after you talk. You know, so what lawyer discusses that? You know, most people that use those apps are drug dealers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to see them using apps that are notorious for drug dealers so that it's encrypted and it can't be brought up. What are you talking about that's so secretive that nobody can know?
Right. And you know, the jury's gonna pick up on that too, you know?
Yeah. If they understand what the Signal app is.
Right.
You know? And this app is used by gang members and shit like that distribute narcotics.
Right.
So and this guy act like, well, I just did it because he said that's the way he preferred to communicate. Well, most people don't prefer to communicate in top secret.
Right.
I thought that was pretty damaging to ARCA and to Alan Jackson of their sneakiness.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
All right. You be good.
Good night.
All right. Peace. Yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff on both sides now. Some things, you know, like I said, I think the police they handled it unprofessionally, but that don't mean she's innocent. It just means the police didn't do a good job of their investigation, and they got total potty mouths. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of people are judging the police on is their behavior. but instead of the evidence. Yeah, the police acted like fucking idiots, but the evidence still points to Karen Reed. If you take out all the stuff they said in the text messages about, you know, I can't stand the bitch and I hope she dies, you know, and all that stuff. And did you see any of her titty pics when you're looking for it? All you ladies are married, or most of you, you have, you know, sons. You know how men talk. Men say some crazy shit, right? And to hear like a dude wanting to see some titties ain't a big deal. I mean, to me, right? Me and PJ was watching something the other night. What was it? The Game of Thrones. And I just looked over jokingly at PJ and was like, are they going to show her titties? You know what I'm saying? It was just a joke. I was just kidding, right? But men say some crazy things. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey.
This is Renee in Reno.
Hey, Renee.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm the one that called you before and said I didn't think Karen Reed was guilty.
Uh-huh.
And you said call back when the trial was over.
Uh-huh.
And I was just listening to you guys. I can't, but it's just amazing to me because I think everything in that trial has proved her innocence.
Do you?
And
okay.
Yeah,
explain to us. I'm all ears.
At the way that they conspired against the whole thing, how those people, it's just amazing to me that they haven't been arrested. I just don't believe anything that they.
You just don't believe nothing they say, and they conspired to bring down Karen Reed?
Yes, I think there was a fight in that house,
over
and
what?
They were covering it up, and they covered it up.
Over what?
Who knows what it was over?
Yeah,
what
but they
men
were just,
getting fights
we
about
seen
when
them
they're
on,
drinking. People were all drunk.
Okay.
Did you see the interview they did with the guy that lived next door to them?
No, I don't think so.
Well, this was a guy that said that he's lived in that neighborhood for 40 years.
Uh-huh.
And he said he did not believe by any means that Karen Reed was guilty. And they said, well, just out of curiosity, are there any wild animals in this area? Wolves, any coyotes, anything? And he said, you're talking about their dog. And he said, that dog had bit 2 of his friends personally.
Uh-huh. But them ain't dog bites.
You're never going to convince me of that.
Well, I've been bit by 2 German Shepherds. I know they ain't dog bites.
I have too. I had one go right straight up my back.
Here's the thing. Dogs, when they bite you, they puncture your skin, right?
You don't know what was going on. There was
hold
a
on,
fight
hold on,
going
hold on,
on.
hold on.
Somebody grabbed him.
Wait, you're skipping the question. When dogs
Okay,
bite
go
you,
ahead.
what did they leave? Puncture marks, right?
Not always. I've had dogs bite me and just scrape across my skin.
A German
if you're
Shepherd.
Playing with them or
A
something.
German Shepherd.
If you're playing with them or something, and they don't get a hold of you right, they just scrape you with their teeth.
Yeah, but why don't dogs have bottom teeth? Why is it a dog with just a top jaw? I mean, there's no bottom teeth to the dog.
You don't know that.
I do
You're
know
not an
that.
expert, neither am I.
I am an expert.
You are not.
I get bit by every dog that comes near me. I am a dog bite expert. I've been bit by more dogs than anybody that I know.
Well,
So
I
think that gives me experience in dog bites. Okay.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
So,
but I still don't. I still believe it's a dog bite.
Here, let me tell you why I say
don't
this.
understand.
Let me tell you why I say this.
Okay.
Because dogs puncture you when they bite. They have, just like humans, they have top teeth and they have bottom teeth. Okay. They ain't no just top teeth dogs. Okay.
Right.
When they bite you, German Shepherds, they snap. Boop, boop, boop. They don't lock on like a pit bull. Okay. Because I got bit in the stomach, in the leg, in the foot by a German Shepherd. And the one that got me in the stomach pierced me, like punctured me. The one that got in the foot was my shoe, so it didn't get me good. The one in my leg got me pretty good. It was puncture holes, almost like a rip. But here's the thing. When the autopsy was performed, they were scratches. They wouldn't have even been deep enough to get stitches. So the wounds are not puncture wounds. And
right.
So to me, it ain't dog bites, because listen, dog canines don't move. When it bites you the first time, and then it bites you the second time, the canines are going to be in the same spot. The dog's teeth don't shift around.
What was going on. You don't know what was going on in that house.
Yeah, but I know a dog's teeth won't move around.
Fighting.
Do your teeth move around?
It could have been several people fighting. The dog was jumping. We could argue about it, but I don't want to argue about it. I'm not convinced that it's not a dog. I think it was a dog.
I don't.
And by the way, where was that dog in the next morning?
It was probably sleeping.
Supposedly, with all those cars outside and people talking and screaming.
But usually, look, the dog knows Jen McCabe. So when she goes into the house, the dog's not paying her no mind. Like my dog's here.
Right.
Listen, if you come in,
if I walked into your
stranger,
house,
my dogs would bark. But if you come in and out, like when PJ walks in, the dogs don't bark.
If you don't think that dog would have barked when somebody came into the house and it's pitch black outside,
not somebody is familiar with,
and goes into their bedroom, she's lucky they didn't shoot her head off, if that's actually what happened. He was a police officer. You don't think you would have jumped up with somebody walking in your bedroom? And where was the dog? Why didn't the dog jump up?
The dog is familiar with Jen. She's not a stranger.
In the dark, with all the commotion going on outside. You're just, I hate to say it, man, but you have drank the Kool-Aid.
No, I think you drank the Kool-Aid. We all drinking Kool-Aid. It's just different flavors. What flavor Kool-Aid you drinking?
I don't drink Kool-Aid.
I like the cherry strawberry kind of, the red Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Me, myself.
No, seriously. I still don't think she's guilty. I don't think that there's any way that she hit him and did that kind of damage. There was a video.
You ever notice that?
I don't know who it was.
Her tailgate. You notice the little thing that overhangs on the top of her tailgate lines right up with John O'Keefe's head?
No.
You didn't. No, maybe you need to check that out. If you measure John O'Keefe's height, and then you look at her SUV, it would have struck him right in the back of the head.
Well, let me ask you a question. If she supposedly, she pulled up and then backed up at 25 miles an hour?
24.
She would have knocked him all the way up to that house if you got hit with a car that hard.
If you hit him straight on, but if she clipped him. And she even said it. She even said, could I clipped him in my drunken stupor? She don't even know. She said it. That's her words. Yeah, she said it.
I hit him. But here's the thing.
She said, I hit him. Could I have hit him?
But let me ask you this. I've never heard anybody ask her where she hit him. She could have meant she slapped him.
No.
I mean,
no. That ain't what happened. You're taking context out of it. She was talking about in her vehicle. Could I have clipped him in my drunken stupor? Is what she said. In this last, did you watch the last documentary that she did?
No, I've just been.
Oh well, yeah. Then you may be off, but in that last documentary, she damn near told on herself.
Yeah, but that's not coming up in the trial.
It came up the first day in the trial. Day one, they brought it up.
They brought up that she said she clipped him?
Yeah, day one. They said there's new evidence coming out from her documentary of her own mouth from last night. We want to bring in the evidence. She said she pulled a piece of glass out of his face and blood squirted out. You need to watch that. I mean, these are her words. This is what she's saying. She said she had 6 drinks and they were doubles.
Why are they bringing it up in court if she said that?
They're going to play. I mean, they're going to play the videos. It'll come up. It's going to come up. You can believe that.
And that Jen McCabe, she's lied so much she can't even keep her story straight anymore. I was surprised that they didn't just stop the trial.
Yeah, but what about the lies Karen Reed's telling? What about the lies that Karen Reed tells? Why don't you say, well, she's a liar? Because she's clearly a liar.
Why? What has she said? I haven't heard anything
She said, I never
heard
said that. And she's on 5 different videos saying I hit him. Could I hit him? Did I hit him? And then she'll say, I never said that. And then she'll be like, and then the next documentary, she'd be like, could I hit him in my drunken stupor? Then she's lying. If she says she didn't say that and she's on video saying it, she's a liar.
Well, then I have to see that. They'll have to show that in court.
You can do it. You can pull it up right now. You can pull it up and look for yourself right now. You don't have to wait for court to research it and see what she's saying. You can watch it. It's on the ID channel.
ID?
Yeah. You can Google it. You'll find it. It's on Hulu. It's on all that. You can pull it up. And she says, could I hit him in my drunken stupor? And then there's clips of her saying, I never said that. And then she said it multiple times. I mean, the lady lies about all kind of shit. That's just one example. So if you're going to say, well, Jim McCabe's a liar, then you got to say, well, Karen Reed's a liar too. We got to be, across the board. They're all liars, but who did it is the question.
Well, the sad thing is, I really don't think she's guilty, and I wonder if anybody will be held responsible. Because I really don't think she's guilty. I don't think she hit him. I really don't.
Okay.
I think something happened.
Well, we got a talk coming up in a few weeks of what's going to happen. We're going to let it play out, and then we're going to discuss it again. But I'm glad you called. I like debating with people. I mean, like, I know your opinion is different than mine, but I don't hate you or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just like, I like arguing with people.
If I hated you.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody has their different opinions, and it's like a football game. We're waiting to see who wins.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. My team is just different than your team, but we're watching the same game.
Your team's gonna lose, buddy.
Your team's been taking L's. Okay, Alan Jackson, angry little dude. He comes off mad and harassing, and I think Karen Reed is going down. That's just my thought. But I mean, if you ask my honest opinion, I'd be like, she's gonna buy her freedom. Money rules everything around me. Cream, get the dollar bill, y'all.
Well, I heard them say that she had spent like $5 million or something. I'm like, good Lord. But let me ask you a question. They said, because I didn't watch the first trial, and they said when they came back and they said they had a hung jury or something, but then they never asked them about the other 2 counts, and they said they had found her not guilty or something.
Nah, I think what it was I think it was 8-4 or something like that.
Well, I thought they said that they
9-3. More juries found her guilty than not guilty. They just couldn't convince the other people. And now you see why, because the other person's on their team. Now she's walking in behind them. That's why they couldn't find her guilty. But the majority had her guilty. She was about to go her ass to prison the first time. And in retrials, 85% of the time, people are convicted, right?
No, but wait a minute. I'm still trying to understand. So they, but the second 2 counts, she was found, she was acquitted
white
of, right?
heart emoji.
Not that I know of.
I thought they found her, like, they were hung on the first count, and once they said that, they never asked them about the other 2 counts.
Yeah,
So
they were hung on the second degree murder.
Right.
The other shit don't matter. You know what I'm saying? The other stuff really don't matter. It's the second degree murder that matters. The rest of it don't even matter.
Right. But if they had found her not guilty,
but it's not separate trials. They're trying her all at one time. So if they don't find her guilty across the board, it goes to retrial because she's being charged with all of it simultaneously. She ain't being charged with it one by one.
I thought it was 3 different counts.
It was, but they ended up hung. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a court expert on that. You know what I'm saying? I just know it ended up hung 9-3 or 8-4 or something like that. The majority found her guilty. So,
no, what I'm asking about is the other 2 counts that they said she was not guilty or acquitted or whatever. If they would have asked them and they would have recorded that in the court, could they? And see, they keep saying it's double jeopardy
no,
because
it's
they're
not.
charging her again. So why are they saying that?
They're not charging her again. It's the same charges. They ain't charging her again.
But
She was never found innocent.
innocent.
She was never found innocent. Double jeopardy is
she
you been
wasn't
found innocent or found guilty of a crime, and then you're charged with it again. She's never been found innocent of any crime. They got hung and
Okay.
they never got past that.
So even though they had the other two, they just lumped them all together. I just never understood that.
Yeah, from my understanding, that's how it went down. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not a legal expert. You know, I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express one time. That's about as much as I know. All right, you be good.
You too. I'll talk to you in a couple of months, I guess.
No, it's gonna be a couple of weeks. It ain't gonna go that long.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a few weeks. It ain't. It's already we already 2 weeks in. It's only a 6 to 8 week trial. So,
All right. Well, you have a good one.
all right, peace.
Peace.
Yeah, if she was convicted, then yeah, you couldn't try her, or she was found innocent, you couldn't try her again. But what I wanted to inform that lady is 85% of the people that are retried are convicted. Menendez brothers, it's a list of people. Once they retry you, they get you the second time. Dolly. Hello.
Dolly?
Yes.
Hey, Dolly, Shauna from Tennessee, Nashville.
Hey, Shauna.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right. Not too bad. A little late night Dolly session.
Hey, I'm glad to see you back. I just went through the same thing that you went through with the chipped tooth.
Did you? Did you?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I've got a heart murmur, so they've got me on antibiotics before I can go have my dental work done. So
see,
just
that's the
putting
same
that out
thing
there.
PJ said. She said to call my heart doctor in the morning before I make a dentist appointment. So I'm going to call them in the morning, and then I'm going to call the dentist and get my stuff fixed right, because I don't. It's making me talk funny because I'm trying to.
Oh, me too. Yeah, and it's so expensive. I don't know what kind of insurance you have. My medical and my prescription insurance is awesome. So is my vision, but my dental sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, yeah, I never knew that you had to have antibiotics before you go into dental stuff.
I didn't know that either, because like when I had my heart attack, I had to quit smoking, and I was like, well, I don't smoke anymore. It's a good time to get my teeth clean. And then everybody was like, oh, Dolly, you can't clean your teeth. And I was like, what do you mean I can't clean my teeth? They were like, you just had a heart attack. You got to wait 6 months. And I was like, what? I'd never heard nothing like that.
About?
Yeah, and they were like,
neither.
yeah, because you're on blood thinners and your heart, you can't go to the dentist for 6 months.
Yeah.
And so now I got a chipped tooth and I got to go. And but once
and
I
it's
do
annoying because it does mess up our speech.
Once I talked to my heart doctor, which I mean, it's been 8 months now over. I've been good, no problem. My blood pressure's been good.
You've been doing great.
So I'm going to get my teeth cleaned too while I'm there. It's going to be take care of this tooth, clean my teeth.
All in one. Yep,
Yeah, all in one. If I'm there and I got to take antibiotics and do all these things.
Yeah.
I might as well get it all done while I'm there in one whop. You know what I'm saying? Get some of these smoking things off my teeth. And so yeah, I definitely going to.
I never knew that was a thing until I chipped my tooth, and they're like, "Oh, you got to be on antibiotics and all this and that because your heart." I've not had a heart attack, but I've got a systolic heart. I've got a mitral valve prolapse as well, and that I'm 50 years old too, like you, and it's like all this shit is coming to light. But anyway, I digress. I'm glad I got to call in. I want to say this as far as the Karen Reed case, I did not follow the first trial. I like to come into cases as someone that would be a juror. So I've not been looking back on everything. I've only started following this case recently, like her second trial. And I knew it was her second trial, but I've not watched anything from before because I wasn't engaged in that at the time. But my opinion is, because I don't know all the stuff from before because I don't watch it. But from what I've seen like I said, I try to come in like I'm a juror because my freaking husband is on jury duty tomorrow. And I'm like dying. I'm dying to know what the heck is going on. I've never been called for it, and I'm so jealous. And he's like, I wish you could take my spot. And I'm like, oh, but you got to go into it this way. Don't tell me anything about it and all this and that. But from what I've seen in this trial so far, and I got bitched out in the chat earlier for sending you a very nice comment about how to pronounce Xana's name.
Uh-huh.
And some troll completely got onto me saying, how dare you come in here and tell Dolly how to speak? I'm like, biatch, I've been here a long time.
That's what I called her, Xana.
No, you called her Xena at first.
I never say Xena. I always say Xana.
No, you did. You did. But, well, you said something like that, but I said it respectfully, and I think you know me. And your mods had my back because I don't play that crap. I've been here a long time, and you always say, hey, if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me. And I said it in a very respectful way. And
no, I think I said Steve Gonzalez.
Oh, good. Yes, it might have been that.
I think I said his name effed up, but I think I've always
either way. Yes, right. But I came in respectfully as a member of the Turtle Gang, and your mods right away said, "Don't worry about it. You're good to go." And I appreciate that. Just saying,
okay,
because I don't like the trolls either. Like when that person came in and got onto you. I love how you shut him down. But anyway, sorry, I digress. My whole thing with Karen Reed, from what I've seen from this trial only, not knowing anything before, this 𝐤𝐚 person, if I was a juror, I would find her shady as hell.
Okay.
I really would. But I'm not on either side. I'm on justice. I'm on justice for John McCabe. And I've heard recent John O'Keefe. I'm sorry. See, thank you. Thank you for correcting me. I don't want to speak his name wrong. Thank you. That just tells you I suck at names, but I respect you so much for following the facts and not just putting the BS out there, which is why I don't watch mainstream media, but I'm just giving my opinion, and y'all go ahead, beat me up in the chat. That's okay. I'm coming from a juror perspective, which is how I like to look at cases. I try not to follow anything before my favorite true crime YouTubers bring it to the forefront.
Yeah.
I think Karen Reed has a very do you call it a resting bee face or a
let me ask you this. Does
yes, go ahead.
Does Jim McCabe look like a killer to you?
No.
Okay,
no.
There you go. She looks like she killed you.
She looks like a liar.
I mean,
she looks like a liar.
A killer.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It don't involve you in a murder. You know, you gonna leave basketball practice with your kids and go murder a cop.
I don't listen. I don't think she's a freaking soccer mom. Sorry. She seems to me like a New England, mouthy, full of herself person.
I mean, she does seem like she has a little attitude and stuff like that, but it's spicy, but that don't mean she don't come off as a killer to me. She comes off a soccer mom that might have some, what are them drinks in the morning with the champagne and orange juice?
Mimosas.
See, yeah, she seems like that type of chick. But other than that, I mean, I don't see her going out murdering nobody.
Oh, no, I would never think she was a killer, but she's a B word.
I'm sure everybody can be that. I mean, I can even be an asshole.
Well, yeah, she's one of those mamas I want to fight. But no, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. But I've not heard anything verbally from the defendant because like I said, on purpose, I have not followed. Well, I didn't know much about this
Karen
case.
Reed will never testify. She will never get up there. You would think
she's very arrogant in her looks anyway. I've not heard her speak. Karen Reed, I've not watched. Like I said, I've not watched. Like I had to ask the other night who Turtle Boy was. Like I didn't know this.
He's a fucking idiot.
Well, I'm trying not to look into that either because I like to follow trials from a juror standpoint. And just from Karen Reed's, like how she mean mugs and seems hoity-toity. I mean, it's a Southern thing too. I'm from the South. You're from the South. Like, we don't do that around here, but visually, she's arrogant and like, I'm not like favorable to her, but I also don't know anything about what she said in the prior trial. But I have seen a few little comments about how this McCabe lady, Jenny or whatever, has gotten PR and she's way toned down from the prior trial and whatever. Look, I get the passion of like defending the victim. And John, oh God, I always forget his name.
Okay.
John O'Keefe. This is how unfamiliar I am, and I don't mean to be disrespectful at all. He deserves justice one way or another. And I know that I watched the McCabe lady's testimony say, I hit him, could I have hit him, whatever. But she was like drunk, and I am a recovering addict and alcoholic, and I know that when I'm under the influence, I say shit that I don't even understand. And then when I'm told about it later, I'm like, are you serious? Did I really say that? So I can understand like why people want to blame her. And I'm not saying they shouldn't and that she's not guilty, but I also have tried not to hear, but I've heard some crap about like Karen Reed with her attorneys in the past, and like, just bottom line, justice needs to be served. But I try to come into all of these cases blind.
All right.
Like amateur. I know you're cutting me off, Dolly. I appreciate you always letting me just rant because I have a hard time getting my words together.
Okay.
I love you. I love you, Turtle Gang. I love you, Dolly. I love y'all. Thank you. And I always try to convey what I'm trying to say, but God dang it, it never works out well. But anyway, glad you're back.
All right,
God bless.
All right, she was all over the place and reversed at 24 miles an hour. She was going faster than Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe. Okay, good Lord. Dolly,
what's going on?
What up?
Oh, that last caller. You know, it just takes 10 million years to get a point across.
She was trying, though. She was trying.
I give her credit. I give her credit, but I just have to correct something real quick.
All right, go ahead. You want to tell? Wait, you got to tell everybody who you are first and where you're calling from, or the code name.
I'm anonymous.
Anonymous.
And calling from the United States.
Calling from the United States of good old America. All right, America. Go ahead. Tell the people.
Yes. So, Jen McCabe is shady, and yet Jen McCabe testified in front of the world that her prime focus was to help John. How is that shady? But I'm gonna tell you what really is shady, where you have the defendant making over 50 calls and not one of them to 911. 50 calls, not one of them to 911. That's shady. And then these clips, Dolly, these clips are a gold mine. Thank God for Hank Brennan. Thank God for that man, because he is gunning for the sweet spot with all of this. Slam dunk about all of these things.
I've been thinking he's doing good, but if you watch, like, you know, every time I'm like, okay, the prosecution is killing it. That you look at the Turtle Riders, they're like, yeah, he sucks. That was the worst shit ever. You know what I'm saying? It's like two total different opinions on the trial. You know, like, their take and the take that people that think Karen Reed's innocent are guilty to the people that think she's innocent. It's like they're watching two different trials.
And there's a reason for that. the people that support her, they don't care about the truth. They're watching these clips live of Karen literally telling herself, like in real time.
Yeah, you heard the caller say the one lady that called, she said that Jim McCabe was a liar. But what about Karen Reed? It's okay for her to lie, but you catch this woman stumbling, she's a liar, but Karen Reed ain't. Karen Reed's a liar too.
He lied about the drinks. I mean, the clips they talked about she described the drinks. She was drunk as hell.
That's a lot of drinking right there. Six doubles. And that shit.
And what's even more astonishing is when we all know about the voicemails.
Oh, I hate you. You're a perv and loser.
Yes. Given how she was so drunk that night, notice how her words are not slurred.
I know she's mean. Like evil people don't like. She probably can drink too. Like
you want to know what that means?
She drinks a lot.
She has a very high tolerance.
Yeah, that means she drinks a lot
with alcohol.
Yeah.
So when you're not slurring your words and you've drunk that much alcohol that night, that changes the entire conversation. If she didn't know,
she knew
what she didn't know.
Yeah, she knew.
When you're not slurring your words and you're drunk as hell, and she even said, "Oh, this drink wasn't even strong. I think it was called the vodka tonic." I'm not a drinker, but she was talking about
vodka and soda is what she was drinking, right?
It was like soda, like it wasn't even strong. So all of these clips, whatever defense strategy is going on, those clips are dismantling the entire defense strategy.
They shouldn't have let her do it. They shouldn't have let her do it.
Well, hey, listen. This is what happens when you put. This is what happens when you put the cart before the horse, and you think you're going to win a case, and they didn't win.
I just think she likes attention so much that she's willing to gamble with her life because she feeds off that attention. She thinks she's a superstar, and she was a nobody before this. Not that she was broke, but she wasn't a popular, like, public figure. Now she is, and she's eating it up for everything she can. Come at me.
Oh, hey, Hank is gonna come at her very, very much so, but there is something else in the opening statements that Jackson said, and people on YouTube have alluded to this, so I'm just going to reiterate what I heard, and it's very, very
Dolly gotta eat.
Interesting when you think about this. He said that both Karen and John got out the car. That got me thinking, and what I was hearing really made me think when others on YouTube were talking about this. It would be a real shocker if it turns out that after the alleged strike, she got out the car as well
and seen him laying there.
Now we haven't got into the vehicle data yet, but if it shows that she got out the car after the alleged strike, it's game over.
Oh,
that's where the murder 2 comes in. It's game over. Get the linchpin. It's over. Because that that potential evidence, and we don't know if this is true or not. When we get to that evidence, we'll see what it says. But if it comes out like that, that potential evidence will align with the comment of he didn't look mortally wounded. So I am looking forward to all of this. But she also got caught in another lie, Dolly.
Okay.
She didn't stop at the driveway. She stopped where a little further down with a flagpole.
Yeah, in the fire.
That whole area there.
Yeah.
In those 36 steps, right? They all started down there. So she lied about where she stopped. She's been lying. She's been lying constantly.
Oh, I know.
Contradicting herself.
I've been knowing that.
And it's like, and her supporters, they refuse to see it. That's why I'm saying they don't care about the truth.
Yeah.
But people like us who see the sky for what it is, it's a blue color. Okay, you tell us the sky is blue. Yeah, it's blue. I see it. These people, I mean, she could put her hand over somebody and fake to heal the sick, and they'll believe it.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody
the,
brought me some evidence that made Karen Reed look innocent, I would say Karen Reed's innocent. But everything to me points that she's guilty. I mean, that's how I look at it. Like, I use critical thinking to be like, okay, what motive would they have to hurt John O'Keefe? And what level of cover-up is, I mean, I believe there's some corruption in the police, but there's still levels to corruption. Like, you may drink and drive from the bar, go home, but don't mean you're planting dope on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yes. I've been telling people, don't go buy off the first trial into this case, because the second trial is going into more details. And there's a lot more clips. There's a lot more evidence that's yet to come out. And that's what I've been telling people.
What do you think about the whole Alan Jackson using the Signal app to communicate with ARCA?
Oh, talk about shadiness. Isn't that shady?
That's shady.
That's really shady.
That's the first thing I said. I ain't never known nobody but drug dealers to have that app.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, when people say, "Oh, I haven't heard anything about this," bullshit. So you're speaking through a Signal app with the attorney? That's not shady? God forbid if, something happened on the other side, her supporters would be going off the rails about this.
If Brennan was talking to somebody on damn Signal app, it'd be crazy. They'd be going nuts outside of that place. Talking about mistrial and framed and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, he's a snake. He's a snake. He's a good lawyer. He's just a snake.
And I don't know if you noticed this too, Dolly, but AJ, from the first trial till now, he has aged dramatically.
Yeah,
it's like he's aging like a dog. I mean, it's like I'm like, listen, I don't know if he's noticing this, but he don't look well. I mean, you know what that tells me? That tells me he's stressing out big time representing someone like that.
I mean, how much can it stress you if you're getting paid $1 million? I mean, in the end, he wins. No matter what happens. If Karen Reed goes to prison for the next 40 years, he wins.
but I mean, he has aged, and that stress is not worth. Listen, without your health, you have no wealth at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
It's like you need your health to enjoy the wealth.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks stressed out, and he still has not brought his wife to the trial.
Oh no.
I'm still waiting for this.
No, that ain't happening.
I'm waiting for this.
He's
telling Brent. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It'd be a Karen Reed cat fight.
Yeah. Listen. I wouldn't be shocked after we get an actual conclusion from this trial.
They're trying to say now that picture is AI of him holding her titties. They're trying to say that shit is AI now.
Now it's AI.
Now it's AI. In the beginning, it was I was making shit up. Now it's AI. I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, I'm sure you could fake it with AI now, but that ain't AI. That was more more.
I mean,
they're getting it in
privileges.
Yeah, attorney-client privileges.
It's not supposed to look like that.
Nah.
Absolutely not.
Nah.
So, but what's also striking too is as to what came out on Friday is another unedited clip where she said that she expected to see him there on the lawn. This is approaching the location in a blizzard with whiteout conditions. You couldn't see anything, and she expected to see him there with snow over his body.
Yeah, they said he was covered too.
Really, you expected to see him on the lawn. Now, why is that?
Because she left
It's
him
because
there.
she knew he was there because she ran to it. I mean, all of the clues. In essence, this is how I look at it, Dolly. She is trying to free herself, to tell on herself in many different ways, and people are not catching on.
I've been catching
I mean,
it.
it's so blatantly obvious.
I mean, I catch all that little sneaky shit she does. They just don't want to see it. They don't care. They explain it away because they don't want to be wrong. Right? Like some people can't accept the fact that they're wrong. That they're so invested to this point that they just don't want to be wrong. And they're going to be wrong. That's the bad thing.
Well, here's the thing. Time is running out for self-preservation as far as credibility, in my opinion, because I mean, look, the evidence is so blatantly obvious, but when we get to the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, and it really shows her guilt, if nobody wants to say, damn, you know what, it is what it is, I apologize for supporting her. If they don't, 2, 3, 4 years from now, going to be even more embarrassed.
I just want to be the only,
frankly, a laughing stock to the world.
I just want to be the only YouTuber right. Because when this all ends, every other YouTuber jumped on the ride the Karen Reed train, and I didn't. So I want to be like, what did I tell y'all? Yeah, and I just know that day is coming, right? And if it don't, then I was wrong. What I got to lose? I'm an idiot anyway. But if I was right, I am the greatest YouTuber out there. Okay, that's how I look at it anyway.
Yes.
So.
Oh yeah. Listen, like you said not too long ago, orange is the new pink.
Orange is the new pink. All right, my man. You be good. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night, buddy.
All right. Peace. It's true. Orange is the new pink, right? And think about it.
We could not complete your call. Please try again.
I just asked that. Look, I just butt dialed somebody and they say it don't happen. I do it live. See, I just called somebody, said your call could not be completed. What happened at butt dials, right? So I look at it like this. When this is all done, how many people out there saying Karen Reed's guilty? I mean, y'all don't have to agree with me because I know a lot of people in the chat think she's innocent. That's perfectly fine. I'm not mad at you guys. This is a discussion. So we're going to, some things we're going to agree on, some things we're going to disagree on. Dolly.
Hey.
Hey.
My name is Gemma. I'm from Florida, and she is definitely guilty.
Definitely guilty. Okay, what makes you think she's guilty?
Well, okay, look, I was watching the trial, and you remember when they put up the Cellbrite data, and the judge said, no, you got to take it down because it's not right?
Uh-huh.
If you watch the footage, Karen gets up, she waits for the other attorneys to go to sidebar, and she gets up and she whispers to the guy, I guess it's their tech guy, the tech guy that sits there, and she says something to him, and that's when he takes, this is before they put the Cellbrite up, that's when they go over to sidebar, they come back, she says something again, and he puts up that fake page.
Uh-huh.
So she's all into it.
Oh, yeah.
If the jury is seeing this, they'll see how devious she is. I had to play it back several times before. She was all into getting that fake data up there.
Yeah.
And she's the one that said it to him. If you go back and look at it, you'll see it. And she's just that way. I didn't realize that. At one time, I thought, oh, well, I kind of feel sorry for her. But then since they've been playing the clips that I've never seen, where she admits that to one guy that was interviewing her, she actually says, yes, when I dropped him off, I don't know if she said she thought she hit him or something, but then she says, I didn't think, I checked on him or something, and I didn't think he was mortally wounded. And he goes, well, that must be the night that you dropped him off. And she said, yes. So, I mean,
she wants to confess almost.
I mean, what?
I can't believe it.
How can people not get that? I mean, they're just blindsided. And you were saying that your YouTube's the only one that does this, that's actually, being sensible. And there's one other one, Tony somebody. But but you're pretty good about
I think the Yellow
you
Cottage
pretty-
dude, and then you have the what is it? Some dude. They're all
don't know.
on the same page as me, and I'm thinking, okay, well, somebody must not need the YouTube check, right? Because they're being
right.
truthful.
That's what I was thinking today. I was like, you know what? There's a gag order on the attorney, so they can't talk. So they get these guys. I wonder if they actually, lawyer for you or whatever. They really go at it about how. Is that what they do?
I'm thinking they're paying somebody. Some of these people
One
are
of the
getting paid.
YouTubes were getting what's that called?
Turtle
they
Boy
were
got
doing a fundraiser.
Turtle
for
Boy
her.
got a Lexus. They gave him a Lexus.
Oh my gosh, he's terrible.
Horrible, but he got a
and
Lexus.
his pants are too tight.
His pants are too tight. He got him a Lexus though. I mean, I can't
I'm
hate
not
the
gonna
ride.
watch him.
I can't hate the ride.
Not gonna watch him, but he was in the courtroom, that first day, and he was sitting there on the end, and somebody mentioned how tight his pants were, and I was looking at him like, oh my gosh.
Hey Karen, if you're watching Alan Jackson, if there's a new vet in my yard tomorrow, I'm free Karen Reed. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna lie, I can be bought. You know what I'm saying?
No. She's so guilty. Oh, and her dad's got to testify,
I'll be like, that lady's so innocent. That lady's so innocent. She's factually innocent.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, a nice red one of the new ones. She innocent as hell. This is so nice.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
you wouldn't do
They
that.
riding
But
some class.
so her dad has to testify too,
Oh, her dad, Mr. Burns?
Her dad.
Yeah, he looks like
He's
Mr. Burns off The Simpsons to me.
Oh, I don't know. He's going to testify. He's on the witness list for the prosecution. And guess what he did? I rolled it back and watched the clip of him today. He
why do all of them have
got
duck
on
lips?
one talk show. I know, right? He got on one of the talk shows, him and his wife, and they were interviewing him, and he said, yes, Karen told me that when she backed up, she thinks that she hit something.
Yeah.
He says it.
I know.
So I wonder if Brennan's going to play that, or he's going to do something with that, I know.
I mean,
oh my gosh.
If they get together a 10-minute clip collage, it would convict her. Right?
I know.
Just things they've said.
Yeah. I think he's good. I don't know how you could think she's innocent. Not after all this mess. It's just terrible. She just couldn't stop talking to people. She thought she was a movie star or something. I don't know.
You know what? Her arrogance and her wanting to be something she's not, it's going to be the death of her. You know, stick to what you know and don't try to be something you ain't, and you'll be all right, and she's trying to be this rock star and she's not. And in the end, it could work. It could work in her favor, or it could bite her in the ass. And I'm thinking it's going to bite her in the ass. Some people are thinking it's going to work in her favor, but we'll find out here soon. But hey, appreciate you calling.
Well, thank you. All right, bye.
All right, bye. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey.
Rita from Dexter.
What up, Rita?
I've been watching.
Okay.
I was on Dumpling's channel and then I came over here.
You were where?
We got off there. I was on Dumpling's channel, but then we came over here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I see we're talking about Miss Reed.
Yes, Miss Reed right this second.
Miss Reed guilty as hell.
I mean, people are starting to lean towards that. I mean, here on my channel, but I mean, a lot of people think she's innocent, and I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm thinking she's going to be convicted this time, and there's going to be a lot of sad people. And
I think she is.
I think my "I told you so" minute is going to come. Like, not as many people watch me talk about Karen Reed, but then in the end, who will be the one that was right? That's how I look at it. Like, I'd rather be right than wrong, even if it goes against what everybody else is saying, because to me, it don't make any sense any other way. Like, these people killed this man for nothing. They left him in the front yard. They didn't try to cover up their crime or nothing like that. It don't make good sense, So,
yeah, and you know, when I look at it, and I can't watch the court thing because John O'Keefe's mom, that breaks my heart.
yeah,
She's got to sit in that room and watch that.
yeah.
And
And Court's
I'll tell
born
you
as
what,
hell.
when Alan had her up on that stand, I was so mad. I was like, he better not question her. He let her down, thank God. But I was just like, man, that lady has had enough.
Yeah.
And I can't watch it for that reason alone. But I know she's guilty. I have that feeling she's guilty. She did this, Dolly. She's going to finally get her day in prison for this. She's going to go. She is going to be found guilty this time. You watch. I guarantee you that's what happens. In my opinion, she is going to get found guilty. And a lot of people do say, oh, she's innocent. I mean, they kicked JLR up there.
They don't say innocent. They say she's factually innocent. She's factually innocent.
So, you know, they were there. Oh, really?
Yeah. Like
they were there.
Yeah.
They witnessed it. Okay. She said on camera, you could see it on the police cam. I hit him. I must have hit him. That's exactly what she said.
I didn't know that you could convince so many people or something with very little bit of information. That you could convince all these thousands of people that she's innocent with basic speculation.
Yep.
So with now no evidence that these people are guilty, they create everything, like the dog bites, the police killing them, the whole motive for it. All of it's created without one drop of evidence that they did this.
Yep. Not a mark on the dog. None of it.
Yeah.
And they're saying the dog, they're saying she didn't say that. Oh, she said that. She said that. Go back and re-listen. She said that. I know she said it because I watched it. And I've watched all of the specials and I'm not a fan of Hulu, but I bought it to watch that stuff too. And you could hear it on there too.
Yeah. Well,
where she goes, did I hit him? I must have hit him. Did I hit him?
On that one, she said, could I possibly clip them in my drunken stupor? And I was like, oh, that's,
Yeah.
You're still saying you could have done it. And you were saying basically you're so drunk you don't know what you've done. And she touches in on how many drinks she had. She had 6 doubles. That is a lot of fucking drinking.
Those text messages tell it all. How she was talking to him.
Uh-huh.
I hate you. All kinds of stuff she was saying to him that night. She was mad, claiming he went in there and did something. Okay,
well, we know John didn't want to be with her, but at the bar they were getting along perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But I've dated crazy women. You can be getting along with them 1 minute, and the next thing you know, they're trying to stab you. So.
And she could have went up to the door and knocked on the door and been like, "Where's John?" She didn't even do that. She gonna pull away.
Yeah.
I don't buy her story. I don't buy her story. She was so concerned. She would have been at that door trying to find out if I'm looking for someone. I'm knocking on the door.
I am
That's
too.
Just how it is.
I am too. I'd have walked up there and go, "Are you coming with me or are you staying here? Because I'm leaving." I wouldn't have just left. So I don't buy that. That she instantly, within 2 minutes, she's mad and she leaves. Like, it seems a little strange. I don't know if somebody would leave me in a blizzard or, but then again, John, according to the kids, John didn't want to be with her and they were, on the rocks.
And they can't get past the fact that the tail light stuff was found on the man's body and in his stomach. When they went to do the autopsy, they found the tail light stuff inside of him. Remember that?
No, I don't know if they found it inside of him. I just know there were shards on his clothing. I didn't know any pieces were embedded in him.
There were shards on his stomach inside the autopsy report. They're talking about some of it had went through his body, like it was in his body.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's on there.
Okay.
I watched all of this nonsense. It was on there because it's why I got Hulu. And then there were some other programs that Karen went on. And then Karen was stupid enough to go on YouTube and to some other crime justice thing and talk to them people. And I watched all that. And all her stories don't add up. She's got so many different stories. They don't add up. So she's guilty. And this jury hopefully has some common sense and puts her rear end away because that's where she needs to go. She killed this man. He's a cop. His family Those kids are without this man. Those kids have already lost enough. She did not care about those kids. She didn't want them kids. She's sitting in that courtroom with her smug look, and his poor family has to sit there, and this has to go through a second trial. She ought to be ashamed of herself.
Mm-hmm.
She should have done steps up to what she done and asked for the court's mercy. If it was an accident, she should have said, it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. But what she's done is she's drugged this family through literal hell,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not right. So yeah, she can go to prison and she could sit there for the rest of her life, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, Rita.
You know that.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
we got one Rita that thinks she's innocent. We got one Rita that thinks she's guilty.
She's guilty to the other Rita. You got to be strong now.
All right, Rita, be good.
All right, bye.
All right, peace. Now, this question is up here. What's the best proof of her guilty? I like that question. That's because this is what makes me think she's guilty. The best proof to me would be her actions. Actions speak volumes. We've all heard that, right? Actions, actions, actions. Would you have left your old man at somebody's house? I think that tells you that right there. But my biggest thing about this, as far as evidence goes, is the broken taillight pieces on John O'Keefe's body. Now, I don't know if Rita, I don't know where she heard that, because I've never heard that there was pieces embedded in them. I just know that they were in his clothes. Okay. Shards of glass of the taillight was in his clothing. All right. His hair was on the bumper. Okay. Remember my argument with Baby Gap? He's like, what, you trying to tell me you ain't never scratched your head on a bumper? I've never one time in my life scratched my head on a bumper. Okay. Like, oh, my head's itching. Let me go rub it on this bumper. Never happened. Right. Never in my life have I done that. Right. Just haven't. That shit sounds, that's how silly some of the supporters are. Like, I mean, come on, guys. That's silly. Even if you're a free care read FKR in here right now, you know good and well you ain't never scratched your head on a bumper. Okay. Let me go. Just like an antelope. You over there like a deer scratching your fucking head like a cat in the heat on the bumper of a car. Like, why wouldn't I just scratch my head? You know what I'm saying? Why would nobody does that, right? Nobody does that. But I would say, hey, lack of motive as far as, you know, Proctor and Higgins and them in the house is Karen didn't even remember going there. Okay. She didn't even remember going to the house. That's how drunk she was. Why she wasn't slurring like the caller said, I don't know, because she really didn't sound like she was slurring. But let me tell you this. Let me drink 6 doubles, and most of you guys drink 6 doubles, and we're going to be fucked up. Okay? We're going to be tore up from the floor up. So I would say the biggest piece of evidence towards me, and this is why I think, because I just want to explain to people why I have my opinion. Now, I give everybody the opportunity to try to talk to me, and maybe you'll change my mind. But I don't believe the police planted these taillight pieces on that. You got to remember the time he got hit, it was a blizzard. Okay. They didn't go over there. They took John from there. They took him to the hospital. So what you're trying to tell me is a police officer walked in the hospital and sprinkled taillight pieces on his ass. Okay. It didn't happen. It didn't. It just didn't happen. There's no motive. Even if they say what Colin Albert, the young man, had a problem with John and that started the fight. Well, you think that little dude could fucking beat John O'Keefe up? John O'Keefe's not a small dude. Okay. He's not a small dude either. How come none of these dudes are beat up? John didn't get a lick in. Let me tell you this. We get in a fight. I'm getting 1 lick in. 1 at least. Okay. And to me, the injuries, like I told the caller, they don't look like dog bites to me. I've been bit by German Shepherds firsthand. Me. Okay. Me. I don't have to look at pictures. I know what dog bites do. I've been bit by German Shepherds, police dogs. Okay. Dolly outlaw. Dogs puncture. Them type of dogs snap. I mean, they snap so hard. When that dog bit me, that German Shepherd bit me in the stomach, it jumped up and tried to bite me like high up. And it missed. and its teeth were so fucking loud. Like, I mean, it snapped. It sounds like an alligator closing their mouth. And I mean, they're snapping fast. Like, I mean, them dogs don't play. They don't play, right? They ain't messing around. And they have they puncture. They're not scratches. Okay, it looks like a raccoon pawed at them like that. But that's just right there. If you look at the size of John O'Keefe compared to the car, the tail light would have hit him in the arm, and the thing that sticks off the back of the window, the overhang on the top of the SUV, would have struck John right in the head. Okay, now you got a guy laying in the snow with injuries to his arm where the broken tail light would have been, and an injury to his head where the overhang on the SUV would have been. You have a woman saying, could I hit him? I think I hit him in my drunken stupor. I don't know. So she don't know if she killed him or not. She may not. She may not have knew she did it. Absolutely may not have knew she did it. She might have been that drunk. Said, listen, I've been there. I've slept in bushes. I've slept in wherever I fall. I left the bar one night, right? Walked all the way home. This is why I don't drink. My truck was parked outside with the windows down. Wintertime. Okay. Instead of walking in the house where there's heat, I climb in the truck with the windows down, fall asleep, wake up, my face froze to the leather seat of the truck. Okay. I literally had to peel my face off the truck. And all I had to do was walk 3 more steps to get in the house, but I didn't. All right. Sometimes you fall where you fall, right? It happens how it happens. Do I even remember walking home? I just know I woke up froze to the seat, right? I don't know if I was drooling or what, or you know how condensation, but either way, I was froze to the damn seat. Good thing I was filled with antifreeze, okay? And I didn't freeze to death out there. I wasn't in the snow. I did get in the truck. But the crazy thing is the windows were down in the truck when I woke up. Both windows, right? All I had to do was walk 3 more feet. I'd have been in the heat, but nope, didn't make it. So, you know, you got to take that in consideration. She was drunk. And if you was the police, listen, you would think, look at Bryan Kohberger, like we talked about tonight. He covered up a crime better than the police did. Dolly should be on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They are all fall in bushes. Listen, I've slept in plenty of bushes. For some reason, I fall in bushes. They look soft. They look like big piles of cotton when you're drunk, apparently. I don't know, but I can't make it past a good bush. I'll be right in it, right? I was at a party one time with my buddies, and they left me. But I got so drunk, I walked outside to throw up and fell off the porch. And I was behind the bushes. So when they came out, they didn't see me. They said, man, we looked everywhere for you. But I woke up, and this is what's so bad is I didn't know the people's house that we were partying at. When I woke up, it was daytime, and I was in the front yard of some people's house I didn't know behind the bushes, right? Laying on the ground. Summertime, though. It wasn't cold. So I get up, and I'm looking around. I'm like, damn, where am I at? I have no clue to where I'm at. None. Okay. So I don't have my cell phone. I don't got nothing. So I walk down the street. There's a little gas station, and I look at the teller, and I was like, hey, where are we at? Where is this located at? She said, you're in Newport News, right? I live 45 minutes from Newport News. Okay. So I'm 45 minutes from home in Newport News. And she's like, you don't even know where you're at? And I was like, nah. She was like, you must have had a good night. Right? That's what she says to me. And I was like, I don't know. I can't remember it. I can't remember what I did last night. I know I slept behind some bushes. Right. And I asked her, I said, could I use your phone? And she was like, yeah. She let me use the phone. I called my buddy, and they came and picked me up. Right. But like, I didn't know where I was at, how I got there. Nothing. Last thing I remember, we were at a strip joint somewhere, and then I ended up at a party in Newport News. So, and I slept good. I mean, that's the moral of that story. So you add all that alcohol, right? And I probably didn't even have 6 doubles. I probably did, but it was over a long period of time. And you black out. Drink some Jägermeister. You won't remember nothing. You could run over 37 people. I don't know what they put in that devil juice. You drink enough of that, you will black slam out. I mean, still be conscious, but won't remember nothing you done the night before. I mean, it's like roofing yourself. No lie. Okay. Anybody in here drink Jaeger? We got any Jaeger drinkers in here? Like when I wanted to go out and get tore up from the floor up, I drink Jaeger. I don't know what it tastes like, damn cough syrup, but it will. Mad, you drink Jaeger? Press 1 if you're a Jaeger drinker. Jaeger don't play. It don't show you no mercy. None. Your memory is wiped. Okay. It's almost like, you ever seen Men in Black where they come up with a little light and they flash it and you forget everything? Jaeger is exactly like that. Okay. Exactly. Like, and they say they make it with like 11 herbs. Some people say there's deer blood in it, but that's not true. But whatever's in it, it will wipe out your memory. Okay. It will wipe out your memory. Done. Right. You could have backed over John O'Keefe 10 times and you wouldn't remember none of it. Right. True story. My husband is 3.5 years sober. Thank you, God. Now I don't drink a lot, so it don't take a lot for me to get tore up. A few drinks, I'm good to go. I might back over you, but I know better these days than to drink and drive, how dangerous it is and how quick you can hurt yourself or kill somebody else. That's why we tell people don't drink and drive, right? And we know Karen was drinking and driving that night. And the bad thing about that is when you do that, you could put your life in danger or the life of somebody else. So that's why we tell people don't drink and drive, right? You don't want to kill somebody else, and you definitely don't want to kill yourself, right? Being reckless. So I know several people that got the Jaeger blackout. Yes, Woodstock. It all depends on what you're drinking, right? She was drinking vodkas and soda. And usually, like when I go out these days, if I'm not trying to get tore up, I drink vodka and cranberry. Okay. Well, I don't know. It's a girly drink, but I'll drink vodka and cranberry. And I usually keep my memory. Okay. If I drink 3 Jaeger bombs, I'm up to 4 o'clock in the morning, won't remember none of it. Probably aggravate the shit out of people, talk you to death, right? But them Jaeger bombs, they are the work of the devil. But if I'm trying to be easy and, keep my wits about me and be able to remember what I did the next day, I'll usually sip on vodka and cranberry juice. Why would she search how long to die in the snow and why replace floorboard? I mean, if you're selling your house, you're going to replace all kinds of shit. I just built my porch, new deck. I tore the old deck down and built a new deck. I didn't kill nobody. Okay. Sometimes you repair shit in your house. And she didn't search how long to die in the cold. It's been proven that search was made at 6 something in the morning. And if you're selling your house, you're going to repair stuff to sell it. Okay. I'm not selling my house. I just wanted to fix my porch. It was time. It got bad boards and things like that. So I repaired it. I just redid my bathroom floor. I didn't kill nobody in my bathroom. Okay. I just did the carpet in the other room. I didn't kill nobody in that room. I mean, sometimes you got to make repairs to your house. So you own a house, you're going to be constantly fixing things. I'm due for a new hot water heater. I didn't boil nobody to death, but I got to replace the hot water heater. There's things in your house that you're going to fix. I just did some drywall work. I put a new door in the bathroom. I put a new mirror up. What else have I done? Little things, but you're constantly repairing your house. I am. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm always upgrading or fixing something. Things get old, So, matter of fact, I got to paint the studio. I'm going to redo the walls in here. Right now, my studio is like black and green and blue and white. It's like 15 different colors, right? Because I've changed it so many different times. And at one point, right now I use a green screen, but I used to have a green wall. It's still green. I just don't use it anymore. Everything was turned this way. Now it's turned this way. And I use a big green sheet that stays behind me. So you get, you know, the green screen. But I used to use a green wall. So that wall is still green. And then I had my music studio set up here one time. So this whole wall is like foam, blue and black. This wall's black. The ceiling is green and white. So it's like crazy as shit looking in here. So I'm going to redo everything in here, redo the floors, redo the walls, paint it all nice. And I'm going to have lights mounted in the ceiling. Right now, my lights are on stands right here in front of me. I don't know if y'all can see that. See how bright my hand is? That's my light. But I'm going to have it on a light bar, and I'm going to have it mounted into the ceiling so the light shine down on me instead of right in my face. So, and then I'm redoing the floors, the walls, the ceiling. I'm doing everything in here. So, but I mean, that's my point. People repair things in their house. They rip up floors. They put new hardwood floors down. They do all kinds of stuff like that. So it's not, where was the dog that morning? Probably sleeping. Okay. Where's my dog at right now? Do y'all hear him? He's in there under the blankets asleep. I get up, walk around, that dog snores. It's knocked out like a person like this and shit. You walk in and my dogs be done. They late night dogs. So they fucking sleep all day. And here's the thing. If a dog knows you, it don't bark, right? Like if I walk out the house and walk back in, sometimes my dogs will bark, but not always. Like say somebody comes over. Like when my dogs don't bark if they know you. They only bark when they don't know you. If you was a stranger and walked in, yeah, my dogs, of course, would be barking. Amazon comes to the door, yeah, they're barking. But when they know you, it's weird because a dog can smell you. I can smell you. And they can smell you outside the door. Like when somebody I know comes to the door, the dogs don't even bark. If somebody that's a stranger out there and they're not used to that smell, they bark. So let's say Jen goes over her sister's house all the time, right? The dog is familiar with her. The dog's not going to bark at her. Dogs only usually bark at strangers. That's it. So if she walked in and the dog, she's no threat, the dog's just going to stay laying down and might not even get up. Just like my dogs. My dogs are sleeping all morning. Yeah, it depends if you've got a lazy dog, if you've got an active dog. You got to remember, dogs are like people, and each dog has a different personality. Like Wrangler, the French Bulldog we got, his personality is like an old man. Okay. Lolo is more skittish, right? She's a clingy dog, real clingy. Like she's going to be up on you. She can be laid beside you. She can be under the blanket with you. She's a real clingy kind of dog. Wrangler is like an old man. You try to wake this dog up in the morning, he'll bite you. Okay, even me. Like if I go over there and mess with him, as soon as he's laying down in the morning, you got to like touch him and he'll be like, growl at me, right? He'll growl at PJ. If you move, like say he's sleeping beside you on the bed and you nudge him over a little bit, he growls. Like, don't touch me, I'm sleeping. He has an attitude of an old man. He's like a grumpy old man. And like every dog is different. Like I've had different dogs with different personalities. They're like people. So if the dog knew Jen, not a big deal. Jen can walk in and out the house all day long, dog not pay her no attention. All right, let's see what this says. Why? What about the officers that come in? Chloe wasn't there. I mean, if you got people coming in and out of your house, sometimes you put the dogs up. You know, you may put them up. You may put them in the bathroom. You may let them out back. I mean, your dog can't stay in the house 24 hours a day. They got to go to the bathroom. So sometimes people let the dogs out. Like I have a kennel. So usually when I let my dogs out, I just let them out. Right? They run around the yard. Usually if my neighbors ain't home, because Wrangler's aggressive. So first I look to make sure the neighbors ain't out, and then I let Wrangler out. because he'll bite people. So I'll let him out. He'll run around the yard. Now, if I don't feel like standing out there with him, I have a big dog kennel that I can go take them, put them in the kennel, and they can run around, and they got dog houses in the kennel, and they can use the bathroom out there and everything. And then I just clean the kennels out. But used for the most part, like they're either locked up in the kennel or they're in the house. Like we only put them in the kennels for maybe an hour a day outside. That's why when we're not out there, if we're out there, then they're fine out there with us. But if say they want to be outside and we ain't out there with them, then they go into the dog cage, which is pretty big. It's like a 12 by 12. So it's a pretty big area that they have. And it has a roof. My dogs are, they spoiled as shit, right? They super spoiled. They get beef jerky every day. They live large. Okay. For doggies, my dogs are like, they're bougie. They're like Karen Reed, but with 4 legs. Jen did go into the house. She did. And the dog didn't react because the dog knows her. I mean, anybody with dogs would know that. Okay. Okay. I think Wrangler needs to go back to a doggy trainer. He's getting better, right? Here's the thing. If you act like you scared, Wrangler will try to bully you. But if you act like you ain't worried about him, I ain't paying him any attention, he won't bother you. Right? He done bit my neighbor. He bit my kid. Right? Now Tiff's scared of him, but he didn't like bite her hard. I mean, he bit her, but he didn't like rough her up too bad. It didn't even leave a real big hole or nothing in her. Didn't draw blood. He snapped at my neighbor. And he's a really nice guy. And it didn't draw blood. And I was like, man, you don't reach out and pet the dog, man. He was like, I didn't. He was jumping at me and I put my hand out. I was like, you can't put your hand in the dog's mouth, right? But I apologize to him. He didn't get him good. And he's a pretty tough guy. He does brickwork. So it bit him in the hand, nipped his hand, but he has like, cinder block hands. They're like real rough. He was like, that ain't no big deal. He didn't get me good. But here's the thing. I told my neighbor, I said, look, I'm going to bring, Wrangler out one day. I want you and your wife to come hang out, because if he ever gets out, right, then I don't want him biting your wife or biting you. So I want him to get used to you guys, because they're my only neighbors right here on this road. So I was like, if he does get out, which we're always with him, he's never out unsupervised. I want to make sure that he's familiar with you guys. So I'm going to get the dog to know the neighbors so they don't bite the neighbor. Anybody else, I don't care about. You come up here, you get bit, you shouldn't have been up here. We got no trespassing signs, cameras everywhere, stuff like that. But my neighbor directly across the street from me, which is just me and him, I want to make sure he don't bite that neighbor, right? But he nipped him and left him alone. But I want to make sure he don't do that anymore, So I want him familiar with the neighbor and his wife. Now, anybody else, I ain't worried about too much, but I don't want, me and this dude got to live across the street from each other, looking at each other, talking to each other every day. I don't want him eating the neighbor. Dogs have amazing memories.
With you, dollar guilty. Need my lotion been a month.
Everything's shipping out this week. Okay. We've been a little behind because I've been working on everything. I had contractors over here. I had pool people over here. I had yard people over here. We've been doing a lot of stuff so I've been busy for like the last 7 days and I ain't got nothing done as far as the store. Tonight, I printed like 15 shirts. I still got to do, some lotions and I got to do tumblers. So PJ is supposed to get me a list of things together tomorrow, and I'm going to fill those orders. So I'll be making everything tomorrow. It'll ship out. If you're waiting on an order, it'll ship out this week. Okay. Sorry about the delays, guys. I just had a ton of stuff going on. And here we don't outsource anything. I print the shirts, I make the tumblers, I make the soaps, I make the lotions. So if I get super busy, then I don't have, I'm only human. Okay. I'm only human. So give me a minute, and I'm sorry if you've been waiting, and I'll get it out to you as soon as I can. I promise. All right. And like I said, I printed a bunch of shirts tonight. PJ will be shipping those tomorrow. I'll get the tumblers done tomorrow. The lotions done probably tomorrow. I just had to finish up everything with the deck, the pool, the yard, and all that stuff. So it tied me up for like a good week. You notice I didn't go live this weekend. I've been working the whole weekend. I've been doing just the Karen Reed stuff so I could focus on getting everything done around the house. So, kind of like spring cleaning, summertime's coming. Let's get everything right. I still got to pull the weeds out the flower bed. I'm going to do that tomorrow, right? I got some steps I got to put up. I got the deck done, but I don't got the steps on it yet. So tomorrow during the Karen Reed trial, I'm going to be a little bit in and out, and I'm going to be putting up some steps on my deck because, I got the deck built. I just haven't put the steps on it yet. So you got to kind of climb up on the deck. But tomorrow I'll have some nice stairs built, and you'll be able to walk up onto the deck. So there's little things that still ain't done. And I got to make a dentist appointment. Definitely first thing tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get out of here, guys. Thank you for everybody that tuned in with me tonight, hung out, talked. I noticed we didn't get to STEPHAN Sterns tonight, but I'll cover that sometime tomorrow. It's just some phone calls from jail that we're going to be going over. And I was going to try to get to those tonight. Rails too, Dolly. Yeah, I got to do the rails still, but I ain't in no rush on the rails right this minute. I'm going to get the rails up. I've seen some prefab rails. I'm trying to debate. I could build the rails or I could buy the prefab rails. And I don't know which one I want to do. It's a little more. Well, it's a lot more to get the prefab ones than build them yourself. But they look so good, the prefab ones, because each little picket's got I don't know. It's kind of like routed out so it fits perfectly in the wood. And I know if I build them, they're not going to be that nice, right? So, but there's a lot more expensive. So I don't know yet. I've been debating if should I put invest a little money and do it nice, or if I should just build it. Since I built everything else with these two little hands. So I don't know. I still got to do the rails and I got to put the steps on, and that's it. I mean, the framing, the flooring, the decking is down. I just need to do the rails and the steps. So, and I'm going to do the steps tomorrow. And then I'll decide on if I'm going to do like the fancy rails or if I'm going to do like, just some wooden pickets. So, and once I'm done, I'll show you guys. But just remember this. If nobody else does, Dolly loves you. Good night, people. Peace.